Hello? Is it back? Is it back? I hope it's back. I don't know. I have no idea whether it's back or not. It might be back. It's back. Jeez, I'm sorry. But that's weird. Actually, my whole network disconnected for just a moment. And I have a wired connection. That's unfortunate. Okay. So, yeah, your point actually makes some sense, for sure. The Western Dan Challenge organizers got to you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a nice incentive in a way, let's say. It is. So I'm being a bit mean, but the title, I couldn't pass up the title, I guess. Let's put it that way. Because I am playing on Fox, right? The point is that the challenge isn't getting me... Like, in my perspective, as a stronger player, is that the challenge does nothing for me, sort of. And it might do something for, like, to boost the community for other done levels, for sure. So I don't want to say that, you know, the challenge is a nice incentive. So I don't want to be too mean here. Also, let's make the Fox Smurf score available. And you don't have school or what? I homeschool. To be honest, I haven't noticed that more Dan players are playing even at my level, but maybe that's just me. Well, that's the other thing. There's no particular incentive. Like, the prizes are only superficially an incentive. You know what I mean? Like, if you go crazy, and also, by the way, if someone doesn't just hook up a mid-level bot to play game after game after game and then claim that they won the Western Dan Challenge, which I'm waiting for it to happen, yeah, you have to grind a lot of games for a relatively small amount of money. Like, from my perspective, for example, I can much more easily make a much smaller time investment with much less risk and just take on a new student that, you know, I can teach. And also, I don't know, I think that's a better use of my time anyway. So you know, than just spamming blitz games so I can win a challenge. So I can maybe win a challenge, probably not. It's not about the money, it's the principle. Yeah, but my point is that the prizes are kind of honorary because they're still not really influential in my mind. It's all about money. Damu95 is here, the cynic of the chat. Well, when it's about that little money, it's not about money. So yeah, it is about the principle, right? I agree with that, and that's why the challenge is a nice idea. Just let's say it's not gonna bring me out to play on Fox. Well, it's not gonna bring me out of playing on Fox. Life is much like a sandwich. No matter which way you flip it, the bread comes first. I guess so, yeah. I'm at an age where I still don't really have to worry about bread too much because I live under my parents' roof, but I don't know, that'll change. Okay, so let's probably start with some opening. Oh, hello, Eli Kadosh. Hello, Kadosh. Welcome. So I'm probably going to be starting a game quite soon. Let me just find... Let's start... do I start with Black Hole or the Bomber Enclosure? Oh, Rick Sagara, morning. Oh, okay. Battle Forge. Okay. You know what I'm gonna request, right? Yeah, okay. Opening. Random. From opening generator, I guess. So Battle Porridge has a random opening generator thing, which gives some, like, not too troll openings, but that are interesting. So, I'm just gonna just remove this, because it's, like, basically not visible for you when it's in small print. And it's just clutter, I guess. It like has information on how the account's doing, but I guess that's not too important. So let's go find Battle Porridge's generator. If I can, like, find the link, which is always like an adventure, I suppose. Da 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 da. I think I saved it somewhere. Oh, thank you. Okay, wait. I'm not gonna. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just bookmark it at this point. Yeah. I concur. I should bookmark it. I agree. So let's bookmark it. Nice. Done. So let's roll an opening, shall we? You can't see it, but I promise I'm rolling an opening. This one works. I mean, the thing with the opening is that it's not weighted complete. Like, there's moves that are weighted better, right? I think third line is more likely than fourth is more likely than fifth, etc. And then the openings generally come out kind of reasonable. So let's go for this opening because it looks cool. It can be made to work. And let's go into a game. Unfortunately, your opening generator always comes up with openings for black, which it doesn't matter too much, but matters a little bit. Oh, this person doesn't want to play me. Yeah. So I'm undefeated at 6 done. So yeah, and the account's 40 wins, 4 losses. So I'm guessing people are reluctant. Okay, first move is this one. This is the craziest move. The other ones are pretty normal. Oh my god, white's also... Wait. This white player doesn't have many games? And has... Very suspicious. Oh, never mind. I actually misclicked. Do you think I should add an option to make it white? I think probably you shouldn't. You didn't think it would matter. I also wouldn't. I misclicked the opening. So yeah, I also don't think it really matters. It's just funny that it's always black. So this is the crazier move. And then, oh. Well, black... So white kind of prevented my random opening, because the next 2 moves are c15 and f15. But I could do it anyway. It just doesn't make sense anymore. So what do you think? Does this count? Or like here it's kind of a not a normal peep, but at least it's not a terrible peep. I think it kind of counts. For sure that counts? Okay. So we just play those 4 moves regardless of opponent response. So this is really weird. So this peep on its own wouldn't be such a bad idea usually. But then you just randomly put this stone here, which is weakened by the peep. So stone coordination is suspicious. Yeah, so what do we do with this? Let's just jump, I guess. It's like jump, and then random exchange thrown in. Kinda makes sense. Ish. This exchange could become useful at some point, but for the most part, in the short term, it strengthens white, which isn't desirable. I'd rather exchange towards the outside of the board, because I know that the outside stone will be useful. This inside stone may just get swallowed at some point, so... risky. T's nice. This move is a bit weird, though. You usually wouldn't play such a slow move out of the opening. So, I've actually been known... so imagine d16... approach, white tanukis, black jumps f15, then white can occasionally tanuki, And then if white plays d14, then you play d18. But it's a bit weird to have both d18 and d14. It's like superfluous in terms of the comfort of the corner. It's a little bit slow by theoretical standards. Just a little. It's not a bad move. I don't know, this is weird. I'm finding it difficult to really coordinate these stones in a satisfactory fashion. Maybe it's like jump, p6, and then m4, l4, l3 from white, and then this jump is not that... like, doesn't make that much sense, let's say. The one that makes a bit more sense might be something like m3. So, like, you know, if white plays here, we wedge, and we try to use the stone rather, I'm gonna say assertively. But by that logic, we might as well start with attachment, and after n3, m3. So, I don't know. Though, actually, n3 as, like, n4, n3, m3 is like, white doesn't have to cut, whereas if you start with this, and white does wedge, then you have to cut. So, and that's actually good for black, I think. Let's do it this way. It's like a normal Joseki move, but this move is like looming over the position and changing the dynamic, which I don't know who that favors or how it favors who, but yeah. I mean, obviously it favors white because the stone isn't efficient there, right? It would rather be like on the third line somewhere useful, or fourth line or something. Then I wanted to wedge, and then dum dum dum. Dum 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 dum. And then you could go for the classic cut, take. And then white Tatari is really annoying. Really annoying. So I guess I have to go out, but then white takes a stone. Then I... looks fine. So n5, n3, o5, m5. Cut, and l5. Usually you would take in Ponuki, but I don't want white to Atari here. Which would be a little bit annoying. Just a little bit. So after l5, white has some options, I guess, but... I guess n7's logical, and then I'll connect on the top, and that looks sort of okay. Oh, Pangolier Fluffy Cat coming in with the tier 1 sub gift to Battleport. Thank you. That's extremely kind of you. Pangolier Fluffy Cat has gifted, I think, like 3 subs at this point. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Also, welcome to the stream. Oh, 06. 06 is a move. 06 is a weird move. Usually you'd want to use the Yaji to cut. Like, imagine that, you know, white had played m6, l5. You would never Atari from here. You would Atari from the other side. So this move is very weird, and I think I'm just gonna take. Taking, I think, is the right move. Oh, or just m6. m6 is the better move. Who's the best Sumego cat? Dacat. Who's building the Moyo fat? Dacat. Wow. Yeah, thanks Pangolier Fluffy Cat. Yeah, I mean, there's other types of cats that are pretty cool. Yeah. If only you had good emotes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, actually, I'd be interested from people who are subs or like are interested in emotes in general on Twitch. Like, I know emotes have never been like why I've watched Twitch or like why I've you know, subscribed to channels in the past or something, but I know it's a big thing for a lot of people. They're cool and stuff. So I'd be interested. What kind of emotes would you be looking out for? Or would you appreciate? I mean, also for people who are already my subs, you know, like, though there's not many, you know, what kinds of what kind of emotes are like nice? Because I'm a noob at making emotes. I mean, I just throw something out because, you know, people are subscribing and, you know, I want to show my appreciation somehow, you know? IMO, the best emotes are the ones that all have a theme. Like, Sun has the frogs, Reebs has the Psy emotes. Yeah, I have to say, both, like, Sun's emotes and Rivani's emotes are really nice. They're really cool. So, the reason I haven't done that, let's say, is that I figured, like, you know, that's like art you have to get done, and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to take that. I could have it cat themed, but like, you know, dacat is a name I have, but it's not like the stream itself is cat themed. So I didn't really know where to take it. Like, I like the idea, I completely agree. But this is one of the reasons I'm asking. I didn't really know where to take that, you know, that idea. Because I haven't really developed what kind of emote choice would follow, even if I wanted a coherent theme. Well, what's that coherent theme? So far, my philosophy for themes is stuff I can make, and also stuff that I can, like, I don't know, stuff that seems to make sense at the time, but no coherent theme. So if I play the high opening and you sick people love it, well, let's make a high emote. Also, I like the high emote actually, because it's like very versatile. But I just make like emotes that make sense at the time, but that don't have like a theme or a. They don't make sense overall, so that can probably be fixed. Yeah, let's have to think about it. Also, I'm actually on break for the next week and a half, so I'm on a break from school stuff because it's, you know, online schools take breaks as well, and I have a little bit of time to maybe invest back into the stream. Watching Twitch without emotes, it's like playing League of Legends with decently dressed champions. Ah, I see. I mean, define decent. I don't know. Oh, I saw your notification earlier, but when I clicked, you were offline again already after 6 minutes. Glad to see you're back. Yeah, that was a connection issue. I'm sorry about that. Also, my opponent went offline. That would suck if I won like that. But I mean, League of Legends has some well-dressed champions. Just not many. I'm going to say non-scantily clad ones, I suppose. Though there's, to be fair, there's some horrendous character models in League as well. So I don't know. What can I say? So this move was interesting because the usual Tetsuji against white L4 is probably K4. You want to play K4 as a nose Tetsuji and then sort of try to take advantage of white's shortage of liberties. Unfortunately, my own stones out here aren't doing so well, so I can't really do that, or I didn't think I could. So I don't know. I was a little bit on the fence as to what to do, and in the end I pushed, which is not a great move. But on the other hand, I don't know what else to do. So I guess I'll, you know, assuming that I don't just win, you know, because of disconnection, it'll be something like K4, K3, J4, and then I'll probably jump at N8. Kind of thing. And that would be fine for black. And in the very short term, I want to play H4 or something like that in order to pincer E4 and J4. And put a little bit of pressure on both groups. Just a little bit. It's not, like, amazing pressure. The other thing I'm gonna want to do is... this weekend is actually not that big. I'm thinking... So I was thinking I would like to find a way to fix this organically, because P3 looks annoying. And P3 does look a bit annoying. So it's something like P3... I'd have to play probably Q3. Because if I play P4, then Q3, R3, R2... R4, and okay, let's say that white plays S2, and I manage to make an I by attaching at R6, and I somehow win the race. The problem is that white's still gonna get lots of useful center moves. That Aji is annoying. So anyway, I guess I guess it's not the end of the world because I can always just play q3 in answer to p3, and then it's not so bad. But it's almost just viscerally annoying to leave this type of weakness on the board. But what can you do? Sometimes I make bad shapes and I have to deal with it. Scorpion shape never dies, says the proverb. Wait, what's the scorpion shape? Educate me. I actually don't know. Also, I'm like about to win on time, I think. Not on time, on disconnect. That's really unfortunate. Ah, damn. Ah. Why do I win on time? Okay. That's unfortunate. Also, because this game wasn't really an opening. Like, it wasn't really a game. I'll just use the same opening again. Having R3 plus R5 moves on the board. R3 plus R5. R3 plus R5. Now I'm confused because the shape isn't on the board anymore. Oh, scorpion shape. I see. Yeah. The hanging connection. I understand. Yeah. That's impossible to kill. Indeed. Or not impossible, but really hard. Oh, hello there, Sandman. Cobra Kai. I have no clue what that is, but yeah, hello there. Wait, my game with draw? No result? Ah, that, okay. So let's get back to the opening if we can get it through. This person's 7 done. Actually looks like a decent 7 done. Maybe not an amazing 7 done, but a decent one. And they left. Okay. I should probably drop a couple of games intentionally off stream so the account looks less suspicious. Because it looks like a bot so far. I'm making tomato fried egg. Nice. I'm impressed. I don't cook much recently. I'd like to, but I don't. Also, tomato fried egg is a classic, I guess, which is makeable, even for me. Ah, white! Nobody wants to play with me. I think for this account to get a game, I almost need to just get lucky enough that the person doesn't look at my record until after I beat them. Like, not after I beat them, after like the first 10 moves are on the board. Oh, hello there, Torbji. Yeah, that Bomber article was shared by to me by Gogo Gooplet. I found it quite nice. So I figured that it's fitting for this stream, given that, you know, Bomber shapes get played here occasionally. Only occasionally, of course. So F15's next, and this opening, I really like how, for some reason, whenever I use Battle Porridge's opening generator, all the stones somehow make sense. Like, you can, if you're really, really imaginative, you can see how all of these stones will work together someday. And somehow, all of Battle Porridge's openings have that property. It wouldn't be fair to your opponents if you always played the B2 bomber too strong. Yeah, I mean, if nobody chooses an opening, the next opening will be a bomber enclosure. So you make a large bomber in the corner to start the game, and it's actually much better than you think it is. Like, if you ask a computer, it's not that bad at all. So F4 maybe is the feeling. And you know, if you're really, really imaginative, you see how this is like one big moyo, right? Like some confident players would already see the development of this moyo. Even though that's not realistic, but it's fun. And you know, the way to continue that would be E9. I think when I was 5 down, I'd be very attracted to E9. E9 and then like N10. And then, like, yeah. Mine. Nowadays, I'm a little bit more boring than that. I'm thinking about C7 and then enclosing with F17 or something like that. Yeah, that's... That's more along the lines. But, but E9 would be more fun. E9, N10, mine. I mean, oh, no, I can't do that. That's like, yeah, that's wrong, probably. Though on the other hand, when you have moves like N6, you're sort of compelled to use them like that, because you wouldn't usually play in such a way. Another question about this type of position is what happens in the corner, because if white plays C17, then are you gonna kill or not? Right? That's a good question that you need to keep in mind. Another good question you need to keep in mind is, okay, what if you do kill C17 by, like, I don't know, you play D18 and then B16 or C16 even, like barbarian style, and just kill, even if it's with terrible Aji? Well, how do you answer moves like F18 from white? And this type of very grandiose corner enclosure has some issues attached. D4 feels like the move here. Because if I play C4, then F3 attachment is very easy to find for white. I mean, E3 is also easy to find for white, but it's worse. So hence the logic. I think here wedge looks valuable. Because, oh, white plays here. Now I'm gonna turn. This turn was really big. I think white should have. Because let's say that, you know, white plays F3. I'm not going to play C2 and let white play G4. No way I'm giving white this tiger mouth with his corner. I'm gonna wedge at G3, then white's gonna Atari. Then I'm gonna play G4, and then white can think about Hane C2. Like this, my turn is pretty powerful, so I like it. Bottom left is called a B2 bomber. No, it's not. It's not. The B2 bomber enclosure is... I mean, I'll show you... I mean, it's actually one of the emotes available. It's like 018... Wait, which one was it? Oh, it was N18. Imagine, like, all the stones, like, one color of stones being at N18, N16, N14, P14, R14, P16. That's a bomber enclosure, I guess. This one has its own cool name. So without F15, I think this one's called the dragon enclosure. So C15 and F17 is called the dragon enclosure because people like cool names, I guess. Now the question is, I want to play B2, but I don't want to play B2. The reason I don't want to play B2, it looks very good, right? Because if white cuts and takes the stone, I can double Atari and take the 2 stones. The problem with this is that after white D2 and I defend B3, then white can sort of Tenuki. Sort of. Only sort of. Only sort of. The point is that if I just play B3 directly, then white's gonna have to connect at G2, whereas if I exchange B2 for D2 first, and then connect, white doesn't have to play G2. However, white kind of still has to play G2. So let's double Hane. Yeah, bummer. I think recently I was watching a game for the Nordic Go Dojo, which I teach at, and, you know, they play games and then we do text commentaries and stuff like that. Also, tomorrow I'm doing a lecture for them on Twitch. Anyway, point being, I was watching this game and at some point I realized that black could make 2 center exchanges, which would give him 4 bombers in 2 moves in Sente. So yeah, that was interesting. And Black didn't play it, of course, because Black was trying to win the game. Actually, those bombers would actually kill his group in semi. But, in the chat, I was like, look at all the bomber aji. Lecture, yeah, about what? It's actually about resigning and winning lost games. So, yeah. So I'm gonna so the plan is I'm gonna show some situations where some people resigned, and I'm gonna say you shouldn't have resigned here, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna show you some of my games where either either someone against me had a completely losing position and I managed to mess it up, or the inverse, right? So I'm gonna pick situations in, at games I've played after I was 5 dan, or so already relatively high-level games, and I want to prove a point. And the point is, no matter how lost you think it is, it's not lost yet. And no matter how won you think it is, it's not won yet. How to search for a good place to resign? Well, I think it's much better to not resign. At some point you have to. No, you don't have to. I actually know, for example, Stanislav Frelak, 7 dan, who's pretty strong. He doesn't resign, on principle. Like, ever. Oh, I was joking. Yeah, I think it's better to not resign. Like, not resigning at all is better than most of the other choices you can make. I recall a game you played with Ben0 where you might have resigned, yet you ended up winning. Well, that game I don't want to show, because first of all, I've already reviewed it on stream. And second of all, if I keep milking how legendary that game was, then Ben0 might not be friends with me anymore. So I won't include that game in the lecture, however tempting it may have been. But actually, in Ben0's honor, I'm gonna show a game where I had a completely winning position against him, and he turned it around against me. So yeah, that those games exist as well. People used to talk about pros doing that, and I never understood why. I think what you often see in professional games is that they try a lot of tricks. Like, many professional games go until very late, even when the game is kind of lost. So you rarely see early resignations. Now, they don't do what, some Fox players are notorious for doing, which is you, keep playing absolutely regardless of, you start playing, some really absurd stuff because you just don't want to, count or hit the resign button. So there's extremes you can reach which aren't very nice, but yeah, I think also most of the players that I know are very bad losers. Like, they hate losing, so they don't resign. So most of the top players, they don't resign. Not easily. And I think that that's a good attribute in general. It's a much better attribute than resigning early. And, this lecture is actually... I always have a trigger for my lecture. So, I review a lot of games from, mid single-digit Q players, double-digit Q players, lower dan players. I have students in that rank range. And all of my Nordic Godojo lectures are inspired by something that happens during these during my teaching activities. If, let's say that usually what happens is that I see that something is been done wrong, like I see several instances of it, and oh, this is a good topic to address in a lecture because people are getting it wrong, so let's do that. And recently I've just seen a couple of early resignations from students of mine, and yeah, then I figured it's a good topic. And while usually I would pick games, for my lectures I like picking games that you people play, or, well, students of mine, Nordic Godojo students, play. I wanted to actually pick top-level games, in this case, just to prove a point. It doesn't matter the level you're playing at. It actually doesn't matter. It doesn't. You can still win lost games and lose won games all the time. It's routine. So I'm sort of trying to prove a point, I guess. And also discuss a little bit how you can recover losing games, right? It's also meant to be instructive, of course. It's meant to be. If I get captured or disconnected without any compensation, I resign, learn the mistake, and try to play a better quality game. It's not fun to overplay for the rest of the game. I see. Well, I'd offer a little bit of a counterpoint to that, let's say. Like, it's not fun to overplay. Yeah, I get that, right? So it depends on what your attitude is, right? Some people resign because they're thinking, this game won't be fun for me. Like, I'm not going to enjoy playing this game, or I don't like playing... I don't like playing this position. I don't like playing a game where I'm obviously behind and I'm just playing badly. I just want to move on, learn from my mistakes, and play the next game. Now, that's... I can see that, right? But... let's say you don't always have the choice of doing that. It kind of depends on how you play. So, if you're playing in any kind of ranked system, or in any kind of tournament, you don't have that luxury. You can't just go and say, well, I'm not going to play this game anymore, or I'm not going to, I don't like... then you lose rating points, then you lose tournament points, then you get paired down, then, then you get knocked out of, a tournament, etc., etc., etc. So as soon as you make Go a competitive game rather than a purely recreational one, then winning lost games is a really important skill. And also, if you play on in games where you think that you're dead lost, you'll be surprised at how often you're not dead lost. Also, like, people tend to resign after they have a strong emotional reaction to things that go wrong, which is natural. I mean, I have emotional reactions to stuff that goes wrong all the time as well. But if you resign because of that, very often you'll realize that the game wasn't so bad for you, or that the game was still okay. And I think that's also an important component of why I think resignations are used a little bit too lavishly in most contexts. So pros will try and exhaust every avenue that even has a remote chance of working before they finally resign when there are no more tries. Yes, sort of. Yes, I can agree with that. Royal Jelly. Most professionals play for too long. Like, games last for too long. And the reason is that professionals are usually competitive people, and competitive people don't like losing. And also, I promise you that people that are at the top of Go, I mean, I'm not one of them in a global scale, but I promise you that the top players in the world have won so many lost games. They have dirtily stolen, sometimes under time pressure, so many games, one after another. It's routine. You'll be surprised, really. And when you have that kind of experience that sort of affirms that playing on in losing positions can be helpful, then people tend to keep doing it, let's say. You kind of get reinforced in that attitude. For me, I only resign if I'm behind 20 to 30 points or more, and I don't see any promising Agi to use. Yeah, the Agi component is important. So sometimes what I do... so this isn't what I do in completely losing positions necessarily, but if I'm behind, what I'll sometimes do is I grab a lead on something. Like, it feels bad to be behind on influence, Agi, and territory. Like, if you're behind a little bit on influence, a little bit on, like, Agi or group weakness, and a little bit behind on just every aspect of the game, that's a very unpleasant game to play. So what I like doing, for example, is I I will grab a lead on points, for example. I will get ahead on points, and I'll give up a lot in another department so I can at least be ahead on points. And that's a psychological thing where I just don't like being behind in everything. I like to have one trump card, or one thing that's going well for me in the game. So that's actually one interesting psychological phenomenon that I've observed in, I think, most people's play. OMG, it tastes like tomato and eggs. Who would have thought? Maybe you cook well. So I played a center B2 bomber as black in a Joseki against Katago, and then I gave black stones to Katago and it resigned. It resigned. Yeah. I mean, Katago doesn't understand that humans I guess. It assumes perfect play. That's every computer's problem, I guess. It assumes perfect play. In a way. I guess P7. I think I contributed greatly to Shasho's attitude. Oh, sounds a lot like what I saw in Pro Chess recently as well. Yeah, Pro Chess is also... Pro Chess players are pretty stubborn, especially in Blitz and, like, rapid games. Like, in classical games, it's hard for your opponent to blunder. Or it's harder. But in rapid games and Blitz games, I mean, blunders happen all the time in chess. Like, all the time. And also, chess has this quality where it's a little bit more... Like, swing potential in chess is really high. You can be doing great, and then you get screwed. And, you know, Go also has a big swing potential. But I'd say not entirely to the same extent. Like, in chess, you can just be completely winning and then lose. Then bam, it's over. You're done. And that's actually not so uncommon. So, not resigning is an even better policy in chess than in Go. I'm pretty sure. A game of chess can turn on a dime. Yeah, that's actually one of the things I appreciate about chess. Right? So chess is objectively an easier game than Go. But that means that it's easy enough that humans try to play it very, very accurately, comparatively speaking. And that means that you're punished more for mistakes. That's what I feel like. Like, in Go, if you misread a sequence, there's usually a way to wiggle out of getting completely screwed. So mistakes are, like, cushioned. It's not that bad, usually. In Go, you lose because bad mistakes, like, add up slowly. And chess is much more extreme than that. I mean, of course, at my level, I'm, like, maybe 1Q1 done in chess. It's not quite the same. You know, you can still... Game can turn back and forth all the time. But at the top level, it's really harsh. Chess is very unforgiving, compared to Go, at least. Or that's my impression of it, at least. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, so Shasho is Stanislav Relak, who just never resigns. He's probably the highest rated amateur in Europe at the moment. European amateur. There's some Korean guys who are higher rated. And he never resigns. He, like, in our last game, he lost by 32 points against me. In, like, the most peaceful, boring endgame you can imagine. The game was exciting, but the endgame was pretty boring, and I was ahead by 32 points, so... And he counted, so... Yeah, this move is annoying, because it's sort of asking me... You know, it looks like after white double Hanes, I can cut and push through and maybe threaten the lower side group, but the timing of white 018 basically forces me to give this Hane over, because I want to keep the corner as well. So that's unfortunate. But on the other hand, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna probably attach here. Attach here is the feeling. Because if white ever Ataris, then attachment is the feeling. To question white's shape. So let's go ahead and do that. The only issue with playing the attachment at this timing is that white shouldn't Atari. Okay, white Atari'd anyway, but that's not my fault. So white should have played k15. or maybe not should have, but if white does play k15, which is better than k16, then at least later white can peep k17, which is better endgame. Much better for endgame than Atariing here. And okay, the reason white Atari is that white isn't going to play k15, white's going to play something else. But this leaves some cutting points. I mean, white's group on the lower side isn't invincible. I'd like to connect it if I were white. So, I don't know. It's very suspicious of white to leave this weakness here. Very suspicious. I mean, next move I'm just gonna cut k15 and connect here. And, yeah. Then this group's weak as well. And white didn't need to do that to himself. But he did. Whoa. Wait. What is this? I mean, this is kind of nothing, but there's like too many good ways to answer this. Oh, goes hard. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm slouching. My apologies. To myself, not to the viewers, probably. Thank you. So, the reason this doesn't work is that I have M15 Atari. And, okay, white can ignore and capture these 3 stones, but then I'm just gonna make a monster Ponuki at k15, and then I don't have a weak group, and white does. So that's definitely good for me, and that's the reason this is bad for white. I'm just thinking if I can play a different move order that's even better. But this is very safely good for black. This is just good. Because if you connect, then I'm gonna play n14, and then white gave me an I for free. Also, m12. These exchanges just help black. Makes black stronger. Gives black more of everything. So, a bit strange of white to do this. Oh, wow. White... White's making me stronger. White should play O13 so that when I capture you don't need to add another move. At first I thought white was probing to see how you connect for some reason. Well, yeah, probing to see how someone else connects is fine, but you need to make sure that your probes aren't bad exchanges. And the probes were bad exchanges for white. And now because white connected this way, I'm gonna get L13 on the outside as well. And later, I actually have Agito connected O13 too, which will create some sort of liberty race with white's outside group. So, white did not play this accurately. Like, I think white fell to the syndrome here where he wanted to capture these 3 stones, but he wanted to capture them as big as possible. And he didn't really take into account what he's giving up in order to capture these as big as possible. Right? Because he got the most he could in the center, but he gave me L13, and additionally, when I play something like M10 later, it's going to be Sente. So it's like, white got N13 stone for the price of all the stuff on the outside, which is not a good trade, right? It's just not good for you. So, white made a couple of really strange decisions here that I think are gonna mostly benefit me. And in the meanwhile, I've only given up 3 stones, a little bit more than 3 stones, because of course there's points attached to the stones. But this Ponuki's gonna make the fight very pleasant for me, running out into the center. Whereas before, it was white that generally had the lead in strength. So, I don't know. I don't agree with most of what white did here. Yeah, I mean, if you play moves like M10, that means that you should have captured O13. Instead of eventually owing a move here. No, I agree. I agree that was just my first assumption. Once they played more moves, I realized I was wrong. Well, I mean, the point I was making, Royal Jelly, is that the point isn't whether white's intention was to probe or not. The point was that even if they're just probes and white isn't going to follow up, those exchanges were still bad. So, you know, when you're probing, you need to make sure that your opponent can't answer in a way that benefits them. So even if your intention isn't to cut. And also, white had intentions to cut here, which was probably not good. So there is also that. Yes, jump L8. Well, but white also had a weak group at N11, which is alive now. So it's worth more than the points in the center. Well, I'd actually disagree with that. Pumamana, so... Oh, wait. Pumanamana. Well, the thing is, white did have a weak group, which is now strong, but the point is, P13 stones were weak for black as well, so both players got rid of their weak group. And in fact, I'd say that my weak group was weaker than white's weak group, and hence I'm the one who profited here. Like, a weak group that's attacking another weak group isn't a weak group. Not really. So, even though white removed the N11 problem, white also, it's like, I have to save P11, P12, P13 stones, and then white's like, oh, let me hook you up. You don't need to save these stones anymore. You can just trade them for this Ponuki, which is bigger anyway, because I get to put pressure on J14. So before, my P13, P12, P11 stones were a burden. They're something I have to take care of. They're something I have to nourish. Now, these stones are just loose change I gave away for profit on the outside. And white's group, because white's group was stronger than black's group, resolving the situation in a way that's affordable for me instead of punishing me for my weak group is just not the right decision from a strategical perspective. Let's be annoying. I mean, this isn't very annoying, but it's a little bit annoying. Taking the ice space is probably not the right timing to take the ice space because white already jumped here. But it's probably fine. Probably. The problem is that white has G14 very soon. And if I play F14, then white just lives. And if I play G15, white's gonna cut through, which is actually kind of powerful at the moment. So this is probably the wrong timing to make these moves. Because they're Gote. They're locally Gote. And if they're locally Gote, then white's just gonna play here and live next moves. So probably I messed up here. In terms of move order. I should jump at F11 and then consider playing I18. So I should play maybe E12. Some move that fixes my shape in the center and keeps a little pressure on white's group. But it's fine because white took Gote anyway. White could have played white could have just played G14 now. If I cut, white can just Atari at I17 and there's no problem. So, yeah, no. Yeah, white lost Sente, so now I took white's ice space and Sente, which is what I wanted, though not what I deserved. It's what I wanted. So now I'm gonna lean on the left side stones and then try to keep a little bit of pressure on white's group. Because it's still not that alive. It's a little bit alive, because white has H18 and Sente, H19 and then F19 eventually. So I'm probably not respecting white's ice space potential enough. So white sort of almost has an eye at I13, and sort of almost has an eye at G19. And with those things in mind, the group is not too hard to attack. Sorry, not too easy to attack because it'll just live at some point. On the other hand, these moves are not invaluable, so I might as well keep playing and just ask white how he wants to live. I don't know. That's just a friendly question. How do you intend to live with this group? So for the moment, I'm kind of leaning on white's left side and trying to use the cutting Aji at C11, B11, and then B12 cut. I'm trying to use this kind of Aji to gain more stones, and then eventually my plan is to play something like I11. And then inform white that his group doesn't have any ice. So, you're not informed. I mean, at the moment, white half has K17. Because if I Atari K17, white's not gonna answer. So that's, you know. Hi Oscar, hi all, hope the games are going well. I'm gonna lurk here for a bit, some Go ASMR. Oh, hello Niche. Very courteous as always. Well, yeah, I've not entirely heard my stream referred to as Go ASMR before, but yeah, thank you. Enjoy your stay and stuff. Also, there's some chances of potentially playing B13 and C8 Senta and then G7, and then white's group isn't alive, so black has a lot of pressure here in general, which is very enjoyable. Yeah, so white plays here. I'm not gonna let white live. I'm gonna fight for this. And white's gonna cut here, which is fine, and after white cuts, my plan is to play F12. Wait, F12 dies to everything, but... Wait, F12 just dies to everything, I'm bad. But... probably after this cut, I can still connect. But that basically gives white life, so that's not good. So I may as well fix now. I may as well fix. D13, E12. E12 is a very feels-good way to fix things. The problem is that after I fix things, and then white plays something like K17, then I can't prevent white from living. Which is fine. I mean, I don't need to kill to win. I really don't. But, you know, would be a nice way to end things. So, let's just make shape and see what white wants to do. Because now the group is under some pressure. Like, next move I'm going to play K17, and then the group doesn't have a clear way to make eyes. So it's something, you know, white has to find a way to deal with that. And if it's just K17, then that was a good exchange for me. That's the idea, at least. Okay, white Ataris. White's probably gonna Atari again and then play K17. That's my guess. Alternately, white could jump at I10, which is probably fine as well. Jumping at I10 is a little bit risky. It's a little bit risky. Just a little bit. Actually, it's... I don't know. It's actually a bit scary for white to jump in the center, because I'll take eyes, and white doesn't have that many eyes. Oh! White's protect... Okay, white's going for the end game. Wow, white's really asking to die here. Wow. That's a brave decision. And by brave, I mean it's ill-fated. Let's just push here. J15, and then just push I14 as well. Push everything. And I know the shape sucks, but white can't do anything. And then play here. And then, I mean, white has half an eye at K17, half an eye at F19. Which means he can make one eye, and then I'll take the other one. And then white has the arduous task of making an eye in this center. It's quite an arduous task. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be white here, trying to live this group. Oh, Keck Gaming hosts with 9 viewers. Thank you. Oh, not host, but for some reason it says host. I guess it's a raid. Thank you so much, Keck Gaming. Welcome. How's the stream? Oh, J Strategy. Hello there. Fusion Lust. Oh, there's the raiders. Welcome everyone. So just playing some random Fox games, I guess. That's the program for today. Stream went well, thanks. Hope your games are going well. Well, this is the first game, and so far you've arrived at a good time because I'm trying to murder this group in the center. So, you know, entertainment is, you know, it's a good time in terms of audience entertainment, I suppose. This is some people like watching groups die. Yeah, violence with lots of exclamation points ensuing. That's correct. But this is a little bit delicate because I have my own Aji to worry about. Killing dragons is not inherently a task. A task without ardor, so, you know. It's a little bit complicated. On the other hand, I could easily imagine that White's gonna give me like M11 and N10 throw in N9, M9, N10, and then I'm gonna be able to make a Seki incentive by connecting at O13. So then White would be like, I would take a significant portion of White's points, which is nice. So that may happen very soon in the future. Z3, well, I guess it's more like Z3, EZ3. Thank you for following. That's a lot of easy threes. So White's plan is something along the lines of L11 here. But here, in that case, I'll just play L9. So White's in trouble. So L9 and then basically K11 and M11 are Miai, right? I'll play either one of them and then White's group will be cut off. If White starts with L9, then I'm probably just going to play L11, and the same thing applies. Except there, he can connect at K9, and if I cut, White can push through, and then the game gets kind of messy and complicated. Fortunately, White played here, which just wastes a tempo and gives me time to protect. So had White started with the more correct L9, I think I can't kill the group. Now, I can probably do some interesting stuff, such as play L11, then White K9, then I get M9, which eventually is going to give me that antenna-G that we were discussing earlier for a Seki, and then White runs out and I can't contain White. So probably White would have lived, but yeah. After this, White has some interesting center Aji, but I'm not sure if it's enough to live. L9 was what I was looking at for both players, but I'm terrible. Well, maybe you're not so terrible. L9's the correct shape move there. The two moves you need to look at in that situation for White are L11 and L9. Those two wedges are the ones you need to look for, and one of them was correct and the other one wasn't. But both, you need to look at both, basically. Now I've got to play D16, probably. You know, this... Wait, can I can't do that, unfortunately. I may have to let the White group go. Why was L9 not correct? Oh, L9... Oh, no, for White. L9 was correct for White. You can play L9 as Black too. Like, any move that Black adds, not just M11, any move will prevent White's connection. The reason I played this one specifically was that it affects the Liberty race after I connect at O13. For White, had I not played here, the only correct move to connect would have been L9. That's the summary. Yeah, but this move by White is annoying. I have to take the ice space here if I want to. But that goes down a very, very suspicious road. I think the better move for Black is actually F11, because if White plays I12 to make the I, then I play G12 and it's a Ko for White's entire group. So that's good. And if White connects, then I play I12. Yeah, Ko. You sound like okay, so how many of you have played on KGS? Actually, I'm curious. How many of you are KGS players? Because one, okay, some KGS players. I have played on KGS. Wow, lots of KGS players. Wait, I thought the server was like not so frequently used. Euphemistically speaking. I still play from time to time. Nice. So, some of you will know the legendary Muttley, right? Does anyone know who Muttley is on KGS? I mostly play on OGS now, I see. Of course, yeah. So now is time for Ko. Or as some people would say, always is time for Ko. I don't play Odin anymore, but I played there for a decade, I see. But most people are moving to OGS, I see. Yeah, I haven't moved to OGS. So, I mean, I've moved to Fox, I guess. The community was so great, yeah, back in the day. But anyway, KGS Kibitz is still pretty fun. So, oh, J Strategy, thank you for following. Let's see, what's a good co-threat? This one's pretty severe. Let's do that. I prefer OGS because of the AI graph and suggestions in the end. I see. I prefer OGS because of Fisher time. I learned playing on graph paper in math class in high school, and then graduated to KGS. Oh, I see. When I was at school, I actually also made a Go board out of graph paper, but I didn't have anyone to play on, to play with, so I hate Fox because of score estimator. Just disable it, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, score estimator isn't a nice feature. Anyway, the point I was trying to make from before is that... Oh, white just died. But that wasn't the point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make from before is that... So, Muttley is this KGS user who really loves... To this day, they still kibitz a lot, like, all the time. And whenever a Ko, like, comes up, this Muttley's like always calling for Kos. Like, predicting Kos and stuff like that. So, you know, earlier the exclamation of Ko reminded me of this Muttley character. So, yeah. Also, I think White played this move because White wanted to capture the corner and then try to put some pressure on Black's center group. Like, you know, L9 kind of cuts Black's group, except it doesn't, but it kind of does. So the point is that after White wedges with L9 and then M9, then I can still connect either with M10 or with O19. So I have two ways to live. And you know, for those of you who think that White can play N9 and make a Koshade, I'll just connect, and if White kills with M18, then I'll Atari, connect, O13, and actually win the Liberty race now. So White's just in huge trouble. Has anyone else here listened to KGS Quest? KGS Quest? What's KGS Quest? I'm confused. KGS Quest. Was that made by K? Oh, Warfreak. Yeah, Warfreak is Andrew K, right? Oh, and Dusty Baduk is in the chat. That's cool. And Haidan players are scary. Correct. It was a theme album about notable KGS players. Oh, that sounds very cool, and at this point very nostalgic as well. Very nostalgic. Told the story of Kaminoite. Seems like you're a strong 6-dan compared to your opponent. Yeah, this is my Smurf account. Like, I'm 8-dan usually on Fox. But I don't bring the 8-dan account to streams because then it becomes 7-dan, because I play a little bit worse on stream. So I have this 6-dan account that I'm using to climb up. Which way do I live? Either. Okay. So, White's group has 1 eye, this group has 2 eyes. Yeah. 2 is more than 1. Etc. Also, even if it were locally dead, I think I'd win the Liberty race at this point. Because, O13, right? And then, if White plays... You know, White can... White can make a Seki out of this, but I just won't fill these Liberties. So then White can't fill the Liberties themselves. So, this is a cool trick about Semedoris. Imagine I connected O13. Then, in order to kill my bigger group, White has to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Liberties already. So because of this resource of O13, where it creates a Liberty race, White can't immediately take these Liberties. White has to start by killing my group on the outside. And, Yeah, that means my group just has many, 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 many liberties. So I'm not under much pressure here to live anyway, except the group lives anyway, so, you know, it's all good. The captain was voiced like a pirate, yeah, and I listened to KGS Quest, but it seems Google has forgotten about it. I see. I'm interested now. If I can find that video, that would be really nice. I should still have the album if you want it. Well, actually, that would be interesting. It seems like a cool artifact. I'm guessing that KGS Quest itself is rather old at this point. And rather obscure, unfortunately, much like KGS itself. So yeah, now, okay, so remember how earlier I was talking about resignation? This is a good moment for white. Because, like, all the resources have been depleted. Like, you're just dead, and black's not dead. And that's probably not good. Not good for white, anyway. Yeah, and this is the thing with this is the ultimate characteristic of the Fox player, resignation. They can't find the resignation button. But you know, I have to say, like, I have to say that I'd rather I don't want to say that it's like not nice of the opponent to resign unless you're playing in my territory or something. Playing on isn't that rude. And also, you might win, right? Like, the reason these people all do it is that once in a while, they win because of this, because they continue playing this type of game. Once in a while. Now, usually they'll lose because this position is unlosable, but occasionally they'll win. As Ben Feingold says, it's always a good time for one's opponent to resign. Yeah. I didn't know that's a Ben Feingold quote. But it's... You can lose internet connection and they win, yeah. I should tell them my connection's wired. It's a paraphrase. Okay. So this is at least a co-shape. Wait, wait, it's even a living shape, isn't it? Wait, I'm rusty. It's a living shape as soon as white pushes. If white pushes, it's a living shape. But white doesn't have to start by pushing. White can start by playing J1. Huh. Porridge bowl games, yeah. Hello, Siku. A win is a win. Yeah, a win's always a win. It doesn't matter how lucky the win is, it's a win. That's, you know, it's a 1 next to your score. I don't mind people playing on even if they're hopelessly behind, as long as they're trying their best and not doing things that they know obviously don't work. Yeah, the annoying one is when people start playing inside your territory and things like that. That's annoying. But usually it's fine. I mean, you have to... Gotta try and win, you know? Let's just play g6. Maybe h5 is better. Okay. So, well, you can tell me in Discord where to send the audio files for KGS Quest. I mean, if you're in the Discord server, you can just drop them in memes. Probably is the best channel, but... Or I don't know if the tone is humorous or not, but... I think you'll appreciate my last NGD game. I went full communist. I see. Well, Siku, you kind of went full communist last game as well, except you didn't. Like, you tried, but... You know, revolutions don't always work. You know, sometimes you can't make Lenin proud. Or something. The last game I was schizophrenic. Yeah, so I just need to connect my stones here and then white should resign. Okay, let's connect my stones. So yeah, I reviewed Siku's last game for the Nordic Go Dojo League, and he tried to make this cool moyo, except this cool moyo didn't really work out. Like, he tried, but yeah. I think the play wasn't coherent enough. Oh wait, White can kill this. Wait, I'm dumb. This is actually a dead shape. I'd forgotten. Oh well. I mean, I'm ahead anyway, but I'd forgotten about this shape. It's a dead shape. Like, the reason I thought it's alive is because if it's in a corner, it's alive. If it's in a corner. Like, if this stone is on the first line, and this stone isn't here, so it's like a first line Sumego, then it's fine. But like this, White can play I1. Now imagine that White couldn't play G1 next because it's Damezumari, right? Then I would be able to play like, I'll just Tenuki and play N2 and make an I. But like this move is Sente, so White gets, you know. So I've screwed up. Like, I just did this. I didn't do the Sumego, I just remembered it. I was like, oh, this is a living shape. Except it's only a living shape in the corner. So it's just bad of me. It's interesting because I've seen the Sumego before on stream, very recently. Like, I was on the killing side of that one. But, yeah. Oh well. I mean, it doesn't matter that I died, because, I killed the bigger fish. But... yeah, I mean... oh, but wait. I can still play here. Oh! Wait, White's dying as well. This is like the Death Fest over here. I'm gonna play this move, and White's gonna be like, haha, I kill you. But then I can play H4. And after H4, then E1, G1, F1, C1, and White's dead. G1, E1, White's also dead. Also, I have more liberties, probably. I think I have more liberties. Yeah, I have more liberties. So, never mind. Even my failures are successes at 6th down level. Yeah, last game, I kept changing what I want to do all the time. Yeah. When you play the thing with playing Moyo is that you have to be flexible. That is true. But Go in general requires flexibility, but there's such a thing as being too flexible. Like, changing your mind all the time. I guess I can win... wait, what's the best way? I guess this way's fine. Yeah. That's what I was trying to read. Yeah, I guess. Worked out. Okay, finally a resignation. It wasn't flexible, just incoherent. Yeah. There's a line between flexibility and incoherence, and you need to like find that line. Okay, so that game went well, I guess. Now I'm 8-0 on this account, and I'm 11 wins from double ranking to 8 done, which would be fun given that for the most part I'm playing weird openings. So yeah, reaching 8 done on this account would be cool. Good game, thanks. So I guess we go for another one. Why not? So, okay, wait, I don't know which opening to play now. I actually don't know which opening to play. There's so many good ones. So, okay, let's just play a classic black hole. That on its own was useful though, as it revealed I struggle with that, so now I can focus on coherent play. What's an opening generator? Well, it's not an opening generator, it's the opening generator. Though thanks for reminding me, because I'm not playing from the opening generator. I'm playing black hole. So the opening generator is actually belongs to Battle Porridge, who was in the chat earlier but isn't in the chat now. And so they made an opening generator where it basically gives you 4 random moves, but it's like weighted so that you can't play on the second line and it's more likely to be on the third line, etc, etc, etc. So it's Yeah, so that's the random opening generator, and basically Battle Porridge used channel points to pick an opening from the generator, which they like to do. So that was it. And now I'm playing a black hole because why not? I made too many tomato fried egg. I just store it, I guess. Oh, lol. Hello there, Tretster. So that's interesting. Tretster and I, just we talked about the black hole very recently. So that's interesting. So the opening generator is really cool. I found a lot of cool openings on it. I'm very indebted to Battle Porridge for its introduction. Okay, so this is I've played more black hole games than you think I have. Like I played it so much when I was studying in China, when I was like 3 done to 5 done or so, and I even played in a lot of competitive games to decent levels of success. When gambling with channel points, I keep collecting thousands. Oh, actually, what kind of things do you want to gamble on? Do you want to like just gamble on the result of the game, or what's the idea? Or I don't know. I mean, there's some things you can gamble on. I can think of doing certainly, where people can use channel points a little bit more. I mean, one of the main functionalities of channel points is you can get game reviews and or games if you want. That's, I think, a way I figured that frequent viewers could be rewarded. But yeah. Oh wow, seems risky to use the generator. Why? Yeah, why? The generator's fine. I mean, it makes up some crazy moves, but most of the moves are pretty reasonable, actually. They're like fine. This move is bad. Like f5, if white plays f5, then I play f3 and e3. Like this type of Hane, when there are 2 stones like against each other like this, you can't do this. Like, you can't let this Hane happen. It's just too much of an explosion in terms of the difference it made for the shapes of the groups. So white shouldn't have allowed that. White should have gone down. Usually the opening loses tops 5 points. I think black hole loses more. Siku. Black hole loses more. Black hole loses around Komi. Wait, now I have several good options. Oh, why is everything good? Actually, now I can Hane. I can Hane on the head of both stones, and then I'm threatening to cut here, so white doesn't have time to kill my stone. So then in the end, I mean, white should have Tenuki'd, probably. Because this exchange is probably good for me. Even, like, okay, I'm thinking of Tenukiing, but even if I choose to defend, then this exchange is probably good for me, because my stone's more on the outside. White should have Tenuki'd. But point being, I got all the shape points. Hane at f3, Hane at f6. It's just great in terms of shape for black. Like, black may have been behind Komi after the black hole opening according to the computer, but black's probably better now. What if we gamble on which side ends up having the fewest points bet? Oh, actually, this reminds me, some streamers I know have done, like, Ribani had this cool idea where it's like betting on the type of game that will happen. Or like how many stones will die. So which side ends up having the fewest points is an interesting one. The other one is, I mean, one that's slightly thematic with the more memey side of this stream is we could bet on the amount of bombers that are going to happen in the game. That's another idea. I don't know, some things come to mind. Who plays Tengen? Yeah, I mean, if you people think that those kinds of bets could be fun, I think, yeah, they could be fun. So, we could implement them for sure. 'Tis an idea. Oh, I'm really enjoying the flow of this opening for black, because once I have this huge, like, really nice wall that I got, then I can play so flexibly with it. It's like I can transfer my influence to anywhere I want on the board. It's really nice. How many Ko's? And now I will play this shoulder hit and go for the ultimate center Moyo dream that the AI will probably disapprove of. But yeah. The reason I didn't want to play on the side and pincer the stone is that M3 still has a lot of places to go. It could play P2, it could, play J3. It's not such an easy stone to attack, and also the top side isn't very big until G2 is played. Until G2 is played, White always has the option to play G2 themselves and reduce the top side. And I don't want to spend a move playing G2. Even though G2 is really big, it's not that big that I want to spend a whole move. So there are those considerations to be had. 017. Just jump. It's fine. The longest line of stones, maybe. But those are some interesting ideas. I'll give the topic some thought for some cool things that we can bet on for future, or maybe just in general some more interesting channel rewards. Like I figured, game reviews and/or games would be good, but not everyone uses them, so might be good. Let's just try one now. Okay. Let's see. Wait. Let me figure out. I don't have the stream manager up because I don't have my second computer with me at the moment. But anything. Okay, let's just do anything. Let's say oh, incidentally, thank you D Walker H for following. I don't know why. Wait, why didn't the stream make any noise? That's unfortunate. It should make noise when people follow me. Yeah, thanks. But let's go over to the stream manager. And let's see some. I'm actually not even sure how to set it up though. So I might be. I've never done bets before. Let's see. Oh, prediction. Add prediction widget thing. I found it, I think. Oh, in the meanwhile, White played this move. This move I'm gonna attack. Oh, no mod online? Or to do it while you play? I don't have any mods, actually. Yeah, I don't have any mods. Maybe I should. I just haven't gotten into the habit of having one. Because, like, at the time that I started, like, at the moment, chat doesn't, like, blow so much out of proportion, and there's nobody being, like, mean or inappropriate, so I never felt the need for a mod. And most of the stuff I can usually handle myself, I guess. So it's, I'm at the point where, oh, I figured I don't really need a mod yet, so I won't get one, but there are moments when I'm thinking, probably a mod would be cool to have. I also don't know who would be a mod, but, maybe 014's an idea here. Uh, 014 is not as much of an idea as it should be. There's probably better moves. There's Q15, R14. P15, R15, and then Q12, but that's a little bit suspicious in terms of shape. The shape feeling is actually more along the lines of 014 still. Go is hard. I don't know. Deciding things is hard. I could Q15 and then go down, and then force White to take the corner and give me the right side, but I give White a 2-stone Ponuki, which is not... That's not how you do go shapes, usually. I'm very reluctant to play it that way. I'll extend for the moment. I'll extend. I don't know. Okay, so name the prediction. Let's see. I know. Let's what kinds of ideas have chat introduced so far for a good bet? Hmm. Longest lines of stone. How many ko's? Who plays Tengen? Hmm. Biggest dead group. Oh, biggest dead group may become relevant this game. Like how many stones the group will have? Okay. Can you only have 2 outcomes? Oh, that's interesting. There should be more. In terms of points or stones? Stones. If it's only 2 outcomes, then biggest dead group is like, It's okay, I guess. It's still a good bet. Oh, along those lines, I should probably just play here anyway. Biggest dead group. Only 2 options. Okay. So, what do we think is reasonable? I mean, white. Okay. We know that white's gonna die with this group, right? We know. I mean, white doesn't know yet, but we know. So, what's your guess as to how big this group will be? Throw out like 2 options, and I'll make the prediction off of that. More or less than 20. Okay. 20 might be small, but okay, more than 20. Okay. I'll rename the. How? Wait. How? It's already bigger than 20. In stones it's only like 5 so far. But okay. Let me say. I mean, the way that this game is transpiring, it's really going to become a monster group. So I'm gonna make a bold prediction here and say more than 30 or less than 30. Okay. It's going to live. Okay. If you think it's going to live, then you can vote for less than 20. Only one group, right? Well, we're talking mostly about this group. Oh my god, White Tanuki'd. It's very brave. This is probably going to be 50, yeah. Hopefully. This Tanuki is very strange because white is locally fine on the lower side. Well, any group, right? Yeah, okay. It's probably going to be this group. Like, the way that the game is going, it's going to be this group we're talking about. But any group, yeah. So, I mean, this looks like it'll die. It's just how soon will white give up on it, I guess. White's not going to give up on it, I think. Okay, so the poll has the betting has concluded. Wait, it's very close. Wow. So 53% of the channel points are on that it's more than 30. That's pretty close. What if the group is cuts in 2, then how would you count it? Then unfortunately. Oh, that was fast. I'm sorry, I should have made the poll time longer. I probably should have made it longer. Next time I'll make it longer. So if the group cuts in 2, I guess it doesn't count. So what that means is that I'm never playing this move in Sente. That's what it means. Because I don't want to cut white's groups. I want to make sure that, these groups die in solidarity, It's gotta be all one happy family. Oh, hello, Mike Kyle. Yeah, posture check is yeah. Why do I slouch so much? I slouch for a living. Okay. Yeah, so kind of me. I know. You don't. But White's really making the dream come true. Aviok, thank you for following. Well, since it was so close to 50-50, that was a good prediction. Well, I don't know about that. Because just because people think it's close, doesn't mean that it is close. Like, just because people think it's going to be that much doesn't mean it will be. So, I think it's going to be more than 30 at this point, because White's not going to give up on it, right? So, I've never seen that feature before, I see. Not sure if telling me not to slouch or predictions, but you know, both are cool features, I suppose. Probably here. Well, 30 stones, no way. I mean, Zichan, the thing is, if this group dies, it's gonna die with more than 30 stones. It is. Right? So, the question is whether it dies. Now, whether it dies is a very good question. Very good question. But if it dies, I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up dying with more than 30 at this point. Halfway there. Maybe Dakat's gonna give him hope to make the fish grow. Yeah, obviously I want to kill White bigger, so at this point I'm gonna keep feeding my opponent hope if I possibly can. I want to play L11 Senta if I can. Now this gives my opponent the opportunity to push at J14, and if I play I14 to play J15, but they don't know that I'm never going to cut at L12 because I want this group to be big. So, yeah. This group, I think this group probably should live. Objectively, even now it should live. So, you know, it's... I have a tough job here trying to kill. Usually, this type of group, I'm not strictly thinking about killing it. I'm more along the lines of trying to profit off of it. That's the correct way to attack. Like, you should attack in ways that you're profiting anyway. And, you know, so far Black's attack has been, you know, pretty successful, even if the group lives. Because White's suffering, Black got strong on the lower side, Black's gonna get strong towards the left side, the group is still suffering, so there's hidden profit that Black's gonna get along the way. So, you know, Black's attack is by no means gonna be bad, but the group, it's unclear to me if it should die. Probably it shouldn't under correct play. Probably. So it's somewhat close. It's somewhat close. Also, the group's growing. Like, yeah. The group is somewhat growing. Next, my move is going to be J7, I think. Yeah, we have J strategy rooting for a dead group here. But I don't know. This group's interesting. I'm not quite sure where I'd land on the prediction now, because it could live, right? Western what? Yeah, hello there, Gooplet. Yeah. Welcome back. This move's a mistake. So White thinks that they're threatening to play R10, and if I play Q10, then White's going to play Q9, I'm going to connect R8, and then R11. Now the point is, I'm not going to answer R10 with Q10, I'm going to play R11. And then White's not going to be happy about that. So let's just jump here, maybe it's not the best move, but the point is after R10, I play R11, and even if White exchanges Q9, I connect, and then Q10 and S10 are still Miai, I'm still gonna get one of them, I'm still gonna connect. So this unfortunately doesn't work for White, and then, you know, This is sort of nice for black now, because I got an extra move in the center. So it's starting to look like it's gonna die. Starting to look. I just don't know with how many stones yet. Like, if they just gave it up now, then probably it's not going to turn into 30 stones. But it's getting close. Getting very close. Is h8 next? Taking the ice space. How many stones is it now? It's 27 stones after white connects at I7. It's getting close. I mean, that's very, very promising group. Very promising. I think the bet's gonna work out for those who bet for the bloodbath. You should have cut it h5 to make it bigger. h5. Where's h5? Where are you, h5? Oh. Or i5. Well, the point is I don't wanna cut the stones off. I just wanted to take white's ice shape in the center, right? I assumed the opponent would cut their losses. No. That 'tis not the way of the fox player, Royal Jelly. 'Tis not. The way of the fox player is to stubbornly, like, fail to admit any kind of, like, failure. I mean, also, if white dies with this, white's losing. It doesn't matter how big it dies. If this thing dies, white's in trouble. Like, you know, often in Go, you can sacrifice a group for profit somewhere else, and you can make a nuanced trade of... No, this group dies, you lose. It's pretty simple. It has been for a while. So, you know, white had to live. So it's not just that they're headstrong, it's that they have to. They have to, in order to win. Do we count the stone you captured at J13? No, we don't. We won't need to. Unless white resigns here, which would be unlike the fox player. Like, another thing with bets on at least the amount of dead stones in a fox game is that, you know, you need to take into account that fox players will play on for too long and die bigger and bigger. 28, 2 more. Yeah, we're getting there. So white thinks that pushing through will help, except it won't help. But, you know, white thinks it will. We're very close. Very, very close. Actually, this betting prediction thing is getting pretty fun. I think I'll need to do it again. So, oh, please don't resign here, please. Okay, yes! Adding more moves. That's the way to go. So, wait, how many moves is it now? So, oh, it's 30! It's 30! Oh no. So now the people that bet against the group dying with 30 stones have to rely on a blunder. No, it's fine. I'll hook you up. I'll blunder. It's fine. It's just about whether my opponent blunders more. There's always that contingency. Which one do I play? Do I play here? This move looks pretty solid. So if white plays L8, I'll just play O8. And I'm all good. So... It is 30. Unless I ever cut this stone. If I ever cut this stone, then it's not 30 anymore. So... Okay. You can take some liberties, that's fine. You won't take enough, so it's not a big deal. So if here... I should be careful here not to turn this way, because then I might run into some liberty shortage problems, except I won't, but I might. I still won't. Yeah, I actually still won't. Okay, it's fine. Because if white Hanes, it looks like, I guess L8 now? My attention has been switched from the R13 Aji because white played here, so... I'll just play L8. So the thing is, r5, r4, right? And it looks like if white plays r13, then whatever I play next move, white's gonna play Atari, 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 and then I'm dying. That's what it looks like. But I guess black has a sort of Tesuji here, which is that if white plays r13, we can start by cutting. And this cut is really important to time correctly. It's a pretty common shape, because if white captures, then the next move, white Ataris, black connects. White can't Atari anymore because white's out of liberties. So white would have to capture first, and then Atari next move, giving me an extra liberty and allowing me to win the race, right? But this is actually a pretty important idea when you're looking at this type of shape, throwing in this kind of cutting move, because sometimes it saves you a liberty race, as it is doing here. So this cut is pretty valuable. Yeah, wait. Yeah, not going well. Though I wonder, it could actually be funny. Imagine someone snipes me, right? And then we make some bet, like 30 stone group is gonna die. Then it may be that if someone's sniping me, they're like, oh, to kill me here, he'd have to cut me, right? So I can play like this, and I'd have to cut the group in order to kill. Now, to be fair, I don't, strictly speaking, have to be on one side of the people who bet. But, I was the one who set the poll because I thought it's gonna die with more than 30 stones. That would be so much effort for channel points. Well, yeah, but it's like, it's just smart mind games. I mean, I know it's a lot of effort, but it's like, cool. Like, it's a sumego, but like you're throwing in the conditional about the amount of moves and stuff like that, which is, I'm not gonna say it's cool, it's more like weird, but it's funny, Yeah, 5 head, yeah, exactly. I guess n5 is okay. So this move is sente, but that doesn't matter. I'll just take or play p5, and then white l9 doesn't work because of double Atari. So yeah, it's 30 stones. So the one thing that the reason this kind of bet is probably particularly good on Fox is that you don't, let's say, there's no risk that your opponent will like stop trying to kill you and resign. Sorry, stop trying to live and resign. They'll keep trying to live and keep making the group bigger. So there's that. I have to say that I'm grateful to Fox players for their benevolence in that sense. Just K16. And K16 is not... let's play a real move. J strategy. Hello there. So the real thing to do here would be to play O18 crosscut, which is a common Tesuji. If white captures the N17 stone or something, which white can't, but well, if white plays Atari here, then I'll get an Atari P17, takes P16, and I'm breaking into white's corner. So that's the type of Tesuji I was thinking about when I played this move. And in fact, now I'll play here. I'm gonna reverse the move order a little bit, which you usually wouldn't do, but there's a reason I'm doing it here. The reason I'm doing it here is that because of my really strong M15, N15 stones, it's a better order to not crosscut. It's a better order to play here. If white plays P16, then I'm going to play O18. And then O16, cut, and even if white pushes through, I can just block, and I think I'm doing very well. Oh, maybe I'm not doing that well. Maybe I'm not doing that well. A little bit tougher than I thought it would be. Because remember that R15 is white's sente to capture the right side. So then, okay, maybe the more safe thing to do would just be M17, M18, O16 Atari, and then just play L16 and just live with everything and then quell all doubts. Yeah, let's just do that. I mean, we reached our 30 stone objective. You know, it doesn't... The rest is irrelevant. So, yeah. I mean, the group's alive. Yeah, and White's gonna exhaust this resource now. If White plays h5, I'm gonna go down at g2, and if White pushes, I just connect. And if White starts with this, I'll just double a target h2, and etc. So yeah, this is tougher for White. If I had to guess, what White's gonna attempt now, in the like desperation thing, is probably to try and pretend to kill the center group. Because you can't see the two eyes on the group yet. Not officially. That's my guess. As to what White's gonna do. Unless they resign. I mean, resigning here is... Yeah, okay. I'm along the... I'm guessing somewhat, you know, within the vicinity of correct. Next, f8. Okay, resigned. Okay. So this group, I'm gonna say that this group 38. Yeah, it died appropriately. Let's see. The guess wasn't that bad. Nice. So, wait, how do I actually, like, choose the Go Oracle? Yeah. So, wait, how do I actually choose who wins the bets? I don't know. Like, these predictions. How do you choose? Choose prediction. Oh, choose outcome. Okay, there we are. It was more than 30, right? Pretty much more than 30. Complete prediction. Nice. So more than 30 it was. So that's good. I should make predictions. If I ever do commentary on European games live, I should probably, you know, do that. Wait, who are the people who won? So three people, only 3 people out of 7 thought that it was going to be more than 30. Wow. $30 wouldn't have been more than 30, but 30 would also not be less than 30. Actually, it would have been interesting what's going to happen if it would have been very, very interesting if it had been like if exactly 30 stones had died, because the way I worded the question, 30 stones wasn't defined. So that would have been, yeah. Black hole opening for the win, yeah. You can refund predictions. Oh, okay, that's good. Oh, nice. That was interesting. I think I'm gonna say that that was pretty fun. Also, how do I... Okay, there we are. So that was fun. Okay, so I'm encouraged to do some more in the future for sure. So in the meanwhile, let's go for another opening. And I may just go ahead and play Black Hole again, because, you know, Black Hole is fun. Kind of took over the stream, though. Yeah, I don't know. It did take over the stream and made it a bit less informative, right? But it was fun. It was pretty fun. And I think I may make this type of prediction as something like, imagine that, you know, I'm trying to play an educational game that you guys will find interesting and just commenting it, right? And then at some point my opponent's just throwing stones around and doing nothing. Then I could maybe make a prediction how many stones will they die with or something like that to make the rest of the game interesting. I don't know. That's an idea. making the throes of death of my opponent interesting. Oh, I'm white. I get to play the white hole in this case. This 6-dan is pretty strong, like stronger 6-dan. About to promote to 7-dan, so we'll see how it goes. I'm always a bit more reluctant to play it with white, but I think I probably shouldn't be. It's probably okay. It is very aesthetic. That's one of the things about this kind of opening. It's very aesthetic. And yeah, this is so right after you play the black hole opening, it's kind of hard to know what to do. That is one of the issues. Like, where do you go next, even? There's an open corner. Black took the oh really pause before the second move. And then they decided to play anyway, which given that I have a good win rate is surprising. Like, usually most people would dodge me. It's hard to get games. And a lot of people don't like playing weird openings, so kudos to this person for going for it. I'll play here, I guess. The thing is, I'm sure the computer really wants white to take the remaining corner. Really wants white to play the remaining corner. But I mean, that's not coherent with the opening. So it's like, you know, you've already committed to playing a weird way already, in a certain sense. They might just be curious. I would be. Yeah, fair enough. Where's this going, I guess, is a valid question. This move is strange. Don't play c4. c4 is very slow. Yeah, don't do it. It's a little bit too slow for the situation. Now I'm very tempted to just take the corner enclosure because it's it's big. Corners are big. Corners are very big. On the other hand, but also, you know, one thing that something like c4 does is that it makes the left side really uninteresting. So I don't want to go and play a move at c13. I also don't really want to play a move at f16 is fine. f16, black can play m17, so I'm not making any stuff on the side, but it's still a valuable move against black's corner, and it's pretty big. And it's more coherent with the opening plans than taking a corner. So you could also do a prediction with the largest number of 2-points groups. Yeah, true. But, I mean, 2-point groups don't happen that often, but it is, yeah, I mean, the point is, it could be 0, right? Could be 0. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people answer like this. F17 is a common answer to this move, when you play the black hole. So many people choose to play e17, like f17, g17, e17, and then they play c13. Now, I personally would play c13 directly, and the reason is that these exchanges are not necessarily good for black. You keep more points, in theory, but there's actually still some invasion points in the corner, and also you're strengthening white on the other side of the board. So I would avoid the exchanges, personally. But some people make them, so it's not a bad choice. Okay, now the really cosmic thing to do, and also the bot must be begging both players to just play a corner move on the top right, but the fun thing to do would be to play something like O13, and then be like, mine. Which is not realistic, but it's fun. So, you know, there's that kind of thing you can consider. C14... Communism. Yeah, but some kind of communism, like, this is like communism without even having, like, a leader or a base or anything. It's just a bunch of central stones trying to make it happen. With no authority. Like, no reason to exist. It's just pure center. Like, most Moyo is based off of a strong group on the side, based off of something, you know? Something. Anarcho-socialism. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, anarcho-socialism. Exactly. So let's go for anarcho-socialism, shall we? Or okay, fine. I give up. I give up. My nature as my nature as a well broken in top player that can't help himself when he sees a corner. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's too much. Hey now, hello there. Is it a black hole or a white hole? Yeah, it's actually white hole. Thank you for reminding. That's not what real anarchy is, amor. Oh, I thought you meant amor as in Spanish. Amor is like love, but about yeah. What is real anarchy about? I sense a political discussion incoming. So wait, let's change it to white hole, or because white hole is cooler. Oh, that's okay. I tried to keep it off Twitch. Okay. I mean, sometimes we've gotten some pretty political discussions. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't want to maybe talk about the topics because then it'll get political again, but yeah. Just don't like to let that kind of misconception go without saying anything at all. I see. The thing is, it sounds like an interesting discussion, but yeah, let's keep on the go. Anarchy can mean a lot of things, but they all involve having no leadership, and that's thus it breaks out. Yeah, politics, pesky politics. I sort of what Black is doing is a little bit strange. I think it's a Josek-ish. Like this transposes into a shape that I think I've seen in some professional games, but with a different move order, and that's important because I think this move order is better for white. Like here, this turn is like really nice for white. Really nice. And then black's Liberty Shortage is pretty crushing. So anyway, I found a great opening to redeem. Can I send the link to the page in on Sensei's library? Next game, I mean. Yeah, sure. It does cost channel points to choose an opening. I think it's not that expensive at the moment. Yeah, I got the points. Nice. Yeah, so just send in the Sensei's link. That'll be cool. Joseko. Oh, Joseki, you mean? But yeah. Where's a mod when you need one? Yeah. True. Political discussions are fine so long as you do it in the aim to find support for what you believe. Oh. Redeem choose opening. Strange opening from a pro game. That sounds promising. Thank you, Roiled Jelly. But here, black's gonna make me crawl a lot on the second line, after which I'm gonna kill black locally. This looks like a 3-3 Joseki, but just 2 DTKs don't know what it means and play it on the 5th line. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Citation needed. Which pro game? Wait, what's the opening? Wait, but this opening isn't that strange. This opening kind of makes sense. Right? It's like, the only strange move is the one on the 5th line. Sort of. But I mean, it's cool. I can try it. Even if it's not from a pro game, I can still try it. So I know that pushing on the second line looks terrible, but the point is that eventually I'm gonna play Q6, and then black's gonna play R5, and I'm gonna push, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then I can make a ko locally, I think. Now the thing about that is that black can cut my group later, so probably suspicious. Can I start with R5? Actually, R5 is the shape feeling here. Oh, R5 is really the shape feeling here. Oh wow. R5 should be better. Yeah, R5 is the shape point. I don't know why I thought about Hane for so long. It looks like a butterfly, sort of. Oh, hello there, Decross. So, oh, you're lucky that I don't have enough channel points to force you to play all on the first 1-1 points. Actually, if you open up the channel point reward, there's a disclaimer that there can't be any moves on the first line or the second line. Has to be above. No, I think you can play on the second line. It's above the first line. But if you force me to play all 2 points, that's already pretty bad. So, you know, you can be happy about that, I suppose. Potentially. Korean KBS Cup winner section round 3. This game belongs to the score chart. Lee Chang-ho versus Park Dae-hyun. Oh, so Lee Chang-ho played it. That's a player of some repute, let's say. I mean, the opening itself is pretty interesting. I think it sets up an interesting moyo structure that I think is actually reasonable. Like, I don't think it's bad. The only issue is that my opponent may not let me get it, I think. But then I can basically just quit the game and start another one. Because it's not up to move 10, right? So I'm surprised Lee Chang-ho would go for Moyo. It's a little bit out of character, but, you know. One thing about really good Go players is that they're versatile, right? So, do you have a stream schedule? That's actually yeah, so basically, I've been wedging stream times. I've been wedging in stream times in my schedule, like, wherever I can, basically, which means I haven't gotten, like, a very good schedule going on recently. However, I very recently successfully settled into a schedule of playing every Friday. So every Friday from 2:30 to about 6 in the afternoon. And I used to stream more frequently in the week, but then I really couldn't make regular streams, unfortunately. I just couldn't. Like, I had to fit it in some days, and actually Friday at this time can pretty consistently work, and I may be just doing this every week for a while now. Quit until you get 4 moves in a row on your side. Yeah, exactly. I basically quit until I get the corner enclosure given in the game. But yeah. Does that mean I'm not a good Go player? I'm not sure about the context anymore, but yes. So basically, this is a Liberty race where I have 5, and Black has also 5, and it's my turn. So if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's pretty clean. Of course, if I were to make the mistake of playing 0-1, then I take my own liberty. That wouldn't be good. But after I play R4, Black can play R3. After which I'll play R1 probably, and then things don't look good for Black. Things look really bad for Black. So Black made a big mistake in terms of liberty collection by connecting at Q4. I think the more correct decision would probably have been to play Q6 first. But Q6 first... Oh, Q6 first just doesn't work. I'll just play R6, and then you're in even bigger trouble. Okay. I mean, R5 is just a crushing Tetsuji, locally. Like, Black can't do anything. So, you know, that did... You know... That does put Black in just some trouble, I suppose. So Black originally killed me locally with this jump, but yeah, I knew the corner Aji was kind of interesting there. Now, I wasn't sure if I would kill. I wasn't that sure. But now I'm pretty sure. But at the time I was thinking, well, at least I'll get P1 in Sente and I'll live on the top side, so I've avoided a catastrophe, right? And that's actually the most important thing in Go. You avoid a catastrophe. Because then at least you haven't lost, sort of. And now I guess I'll push again. And after Q9 I can Tenuki, I guess. I don't know. Tenuki might be the best move, actually. But on the other hand, I don't want Black to go down at R9 and it be Sente. So I may push again, or I may attach at Q10. Attachment? I don't like the attachment at Q10, actually. It's not the shape feeling here. Because if black goes down, and I go down, and then black jumps, and then I connect on the first line, and then black plays 08, I'm harming my outside group too much. Like, I have no reason to do that. So I may just push again, just so that black's turn isn't sente. I don't like my opponent's turns being sente. And then I'll jump in the center with this group, and then black will be locally dead, and black will not really have compensation because, you know, black's own groups aren't so strong here. Like, you know, this group is actually pretty weak, right? So I'm happy with this position from white's perspective. L8, maybe? Yeah, L8's good. I mean, putting pressure, I guess. And R10 is big, but it's not sente. Yeah, it's not sente. And that's the important thing. I think it's not sente. Yeah, it's not sente. But anyway, you know, it's not always bad to sacrifice your corner like this. But it's bad to sacrifice your corner like this. Like, specifically the way that black did it. This kind of corner sacrifice can sometimes work out if you get an interesting wall on the outside, if you get some counterplay in some way, shape, or form. But in this case, it's very questionable what black is getting. It's just, I mean, this group is weak, right? So you're not getting anything, you're losing stuff. Even on the outside, you're still losing. So this seems pretty good for white. Now I was thinking I'm gonna play L5, M5, and L4, which is really, really crude, but it works, and I capture everything. So even though it's really, really crude, and the shape feeling is wrong, it works. And when something works, well, it works. So maybe even better is L4. Oh, L4 is better. L4 is much better. L4 is just good. Because if I play L4, and black plays M4, then I don't have to play L5 and transpose into the other variation. I can just play M5. And if black pushes, I'll Atari, and then black will take, and I'll Atari, and then black will connect, and I'll play K6. And then black is just captured. It's just a geta. So I looked at L4 as a move before, but it didn't work before I got the move at J5. So yeah, black's just in monumental levels of trouble here. Sorry, I had to take a call. Someone said Li Changho. Yeah, Li Changho, apparently Li Changho played that opening as black before. So it's interesting. Also considering that there's a stereotype of... Like, there's this stereotype of Li Changho as a territorial player, so, you know. I got to go, thanks for the stream, I'll leave you with this gift. Oh, thank you, J Strategy. Wait, that clip? I don't know, let's... I actually haven't set up a way to watch clips on stream, which I should. Because I think that's probably the right thing to do with clips, because they're cool. So, like, it's nice when someone clips back part of the stream. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to watch it on stream, but thank you very much, J Strategy. And yeah, black's just dying here really... I mean, this is... I mean, black's shape efficiency isn't even that good. You die with these many stones and you only have one bomber. I mean, what? That's hard, you know? If black had one more move... Oh, the sound is... The sound is what's important. Oh, the sound? Okay. I'm not sure what you mean, but yeah. The stereotype fueled entirely by the one sentence on Sensei saying that Li Changho yields everything and still wins, etc. The section on Sensei should be deleted. Well, I think the thing about Li Changho is that some of his most famous wins... I mean, Li Changho actually... You know, he's had a long career as a professional, right? He's played lots and lots of games. But the point is that some of his most famous wins, when he was actually at his, like, to a certain extent at his peak, were really, to a certain extent, really changed how people thought about the endgame. And they were, like, not very conventional in terms of how much he valued points on the second line, for example. So, in my opinion, like, even though Lee Chang-ho actually, for a very long time, Lee Chang-ho has played like a normal Korean professional to an extent, like, just aggressive, right? Lee Chang-ho, I think especially later in his career, he's actually played very aggressively at times. So, or that's my impression from the few games I've seen of him. Now, out of his older games, there's just so many interesting concepts that really kind of change how we think about endgame, which are probably going to be his trademark on the game, right? So there's a little bit of a thing there. But okay, this game ended quickly. Lots of games end quickly. Why does everyone resign? That's unfortunate. He still plays super slack openings. It's interesting. Like, if you put it into a bot, there's still, like, slack openings. Or... That's interesting. I'll have to check some of his games. Now I'm curious. Because recently I've been checking a lot more professional games. I could easily check his. But yeah. So, how is the account doing now? I think... we are 11-0 and 9 games from double ranking to 8 done. That would be pretty nice. Double ranking to 8 done would be cool. And then we control the 8 done sphere with lots of weird openings. So, but okay, let's try the opening. This may be the last game of the stream depending on how much it lasts. Though judging by how long these games have lasted, it may not be the last game of the stream. But let's try that Lee Chang-ho opening. They're fine, but nothing great. So, opening request, and it's 6-4, like 6-4 3-5 enclosure. Plus, wait, which move is that? Oh, by the way, thank you for the follow, Ernesto Gonzalez Neida. Nice. Full name on Twitch. Thank you very much. So, this opening's hard to explain. It's just like, I guess it's like 10. I mean, it's like 5-10, I guess. 5-10. So it's weird. I don't know how else to describe it. Something like that. So isn't he always just nobbing against 3-3 invasions? What else does he do that is slack? I don't know either, but yeah. Oh yeah, happy Lunar New Year. Oh yeah, there's the Lunar New Year. I haven't kept track of that too much, but apparently it is, so. I think I was actually impressed at how much Beijing shut down when I was there leading up to the Lunar New Year both times. It's kind of impressive how much everything just dies and people leave. That's really interesting to me. But yeah, 10-5 IIRC. Can someone explain to me what IIRC is? My apologies. Royal Jelly. So I think the reason it should be 5-10 is that I'm counting from the right and then from the top. If I recall correctly. Oh, well, wait, I'm white. First of all, I have to be black for this one. Or I don't, but it's easier to be black. So let's... Though, actually, Fox might not let me be black. Oh, white. Fox may just give me white every game. I'll try a couple of games, maybe. Or, okay, I'll try to make it work with white, and then I'll see. Um, wait, wait. I need to figure out. This is like, yeah. It's hard to figure out how to get this opening now. Oh, is it now? Happy New Year, folks. Yeah, happy Lunar New Year. I guess that's. Interestingly, I spent the Lunar New Year with some people who celebrate it, but not in China, in Romania. So yeah. Oh yeah, probably said it wrong. I think I'm lagging video right now. Oh, I wonder if... I hope it's just you, I guess. I hope. Oh, I'm black this time. Nice. So let's just start with double 5-3 and hope... I hope it works. Hope. I don't think it'll work. It's really hard. It's really hard to get this move in now. Yeah, it's really hard to get both the corner enclosures because against either N16 or Q5, the opponent will probably want to approach. So it's gonna take a little while to get this opening down. Unless I'm literally just gonna play here now as a shoulder hit. Yeah, play it anyway. What do you think, Roll Jelly? Does this count? Ah! Do I play here now? Do I play O10? Do it. Yeah, this is exactly how Li Changho envisioned the opening. Jeez. So what's going on? Up to you. Okay, well, I mean, it's gonna be really hard to get this opening anyway, so I don't know. I mean, also we reached move 10 now, so I can't resign anymore. This is over. What do you mean it's over? It's fine. I've played much worse openings and won. Much worse. So which move do I play here? Usually the move in this shape for black, because we basically transposed in this situation into white having a corner enclosure Q4 or 3 and me playing Q5. Except there's a weird stone at N4. And it's kind of hard to see like how it fits in. So I may just play here and then Tenuki, I guess. After white R4, then just Tenuki. Oh, white plays from here. I guess I'll just Q7. I mean, Q8's an idea as well. But Q8 works in a weird way with O10, so I'm more tempted to play Q7. And after Q7... Q7, P7... I'll still just play here, I think. Q8. If white plays P7 and then I Hane and white Hanes, that's an interesting trade, which is probably fine. But it's also fine to not Hane and not allow the Hane on the head of stones, so... And this way, this looks kind of natural because this move is still going to be useful. I'm going to get to push white down later, or maybe even now. So it's not like a bad move or anything. So I was just trying to find a way to fit all the stones in. Eats hit slate pizza. Hi, hello there, Miko. What's up? Why not Hane at R4 instead of extend? So the reason I didn't Hane at R4 is that white will, like... White has a couple of ways to answer, I guess. Wait, which one? No, I'm not sure which one white would do. Yes, 3 weeks late, yeah. So, if white just cuts and black plays Q6, and then white plays R3, I agree that you can cut P4, Q3, O4, and then black has a nice outside structure, which is probably okay. But what I didn't necessarily like about it is that white will Hane from the top, and then just... I don't know, like, play Q3 probably, or P4. And it's basically, imagine I Hane R4 and then Q6 and then connect and then P4, right? And then I'm basically going to have to live in the corner. And then it's like any variation where I would have chosen to Hane, and then white had Hane on the head of stones. Very, very similar. So I didn't choose that for the same reason I didn't choose to Hane at any of the other stages, I guess. Would be the answer. Oh, Astrotokinias22, welcome. Thank you for the bits. Yeah, hello there. Welcome. So, no, this is a second one eating it right now. And yes, stream should have started, but I gotta eat. Oh yeah, Jeff and Miko will be streaming after. Like usually they start at 5, and often I raid them. So you know, that's good. But I guess I'll raid them later, like anyway. So that's good. This fight I sort of like because I'm gonna get to play H13 now, and then after white J15. I'm gonna get to play L17, and then it's like a nice transition. Like, it's a nice direction of play for black, which I'm kind of enjoying here. I get to connect up my stones, I get to go in the direction of my Moyo. It's sort of nice. It's not a big deal, it's not like white did anything wrong, but, you know, I'm happy here. It's pleasant. This move is probably wrong from white. You don't play I-17 here. You first ask at K18, and then if black plays K17, then you consider it. The point is, if you play K18 now, black will play J18. So white didn't entirely play this correctly, according to theory, so that's a bit strange. White does have the option to play like E17 here later, and I'm either going to have to make a very strange connection that isn't good shape, or I'm gonna have to let white cut me. So there is that. I think what I'll do is I'll play E16, D17, which is a terrible exchange, really bad exchange, and then G18. And the only reason I'm willing to make such a terrible exchange is that I'm attacking white. So if I'm attacking white, then I can make bad exchanges. Or like, that doesn't mean I can or should, but it means that it's like you're making a bad exchange in order to get more long-term profit eventually. So I'm preparing to answer white E17 with this exchange, and then G18. And that way I keep all of my stones connected, and then I have the chance to connect at I18 as well, and my shape is good. So that's, you know, my shape is good on the outside. This exchange E17 for D17 is terrible for white, for black. Very bad. But, you know, sometimes you make bad exchanges to get good things. So that's the plan. In the meanwhile, this group of whites... Yeah, white looks a bit heavy. Yeah. So the white mishandled this group already. Like, white shouldn't have such a heavy group. It's not good. Like, it's just not good. And also, this exchange, N15 for O16, if you can possibly avoid it, do so. Because, like, this basically white's solidifying my corner. It's like I passively captured this corner without even really playing there, which is very nice for me. So white misplayed this a couple of different ways, I think. Now I have an interesting decision. I could play H12, and after white plays like F11, I can try and live. Or I could play something like E12, then F11, then D13, which means I get more breathing space for my lower side group, but I let white out, basically. Okay, pizza eaten, bye. Yeah, enjoy the stream. I'll raid you later, Miko. I'll actually Atari this way, because after I connect and white plays F11, it's kind of scary. You know, like, my own group isn't so easy to live with. So I'm gonna go ahead and be cautious here and just play D13 wedge, which also really messes with white's shape at the moment. So C13 connect, and white can't really contain me because I cut and push down, and then D15 I capture the D14 stone. So white's shape on the left side is a little bit weird now, which is good for me. On the other hand, white can now in the center, if white really, really wants to escape, white can play H12, G11, H11, G10, I13. Now, that's terrible for white, because you're actually giving black useful stones on the outside of the board, and good shape in general, so it's not good, it's not recommended. But, you know, if your group's dying, you gotta live it somehow, right? You have to do something. So it's a good emergency measure for white if white really needs it. C15 probably is the better move because I'm threatening to kill with B12 anyway, and then I get better shape when I capture D15 later. Not even sure if I capture D15, I might want to play C16. Because if I play D15, then C16 is pretty powerful, threatening to play B15 connection, and also making some I shape. Whereas if I play this push, white connection doesn't worry me because I'm going to play D17 anyway. So this is probably the better move order for black. And now, I may even play C17, and if white connects, then I'm gonna Hane. And then, if white plays here, then I'm gonna connect, and then if white plays here, I'm gonna play this. Yeah, so, C17, D15, D18, E18, connect, F18. And because I have this Atari sort of in the bag, then that should be okay for me. I didn't want to play D15 because after C17, white's group is hard to kill again. And, you know, it's fine if white lives in the corner so long as my group lives as well. So I probably should have accepted that. Like, here I'm leaving lots of bad aji, which maybe I didn't want to. Or I shouldn't have wanted to. But now I did, so, you know, sometimes you deal with your decisions. Now I was wondering about this move, and I thought that E18 would be pretty good for black here. I still think E18 is pretty good for black here. Yeah, I still think it. And now I can play G17. Wait, can I? That was the idea, but I don't know anymore. Yeah, that probably looks fine. It's a little bit risky, but it looks fine. If I were to play G18, then F16, G17, G16, and basically then white will either play D15 and capture my center, or play D18 and capture my lower side later. Not capture, but harass and bad and stuff. But this way, I get some interesting compensation, I think. Even if white... So if white captures, I could play D15 and let white live. Or I could go the aggressive route and play C18. And that move actually, it has its merits. It actually has its merits. Because if I play here and white has, like, if I play D15 and then white is... Oh, I live in Sente, and then I'll connect here. If I get to live in Sente, even if white plays C18, then that's probably okay. Whereas if I play C18 and then white plays D15, then it's a sort of weird liberty race that looks like it'll end up in a ko for a seki or something like that. But then white may get Sente, which is really important on this board because white wants to play H12. If I play H12, I'm still attacking white's group, provided I'm alive with the F13 guys. So I think this is the correct move order for black. After white turns, I play B18, white plays C19. I have lots of resources to make life with because G19 is Sente, right? And next I'm gonna play J18 to connect on the second line. Alternatively, I can just live on the side of the board. So I can just well, first of all play E16, which makes an I in Sente because white has to play E14 if wants to kill, and then I'll easily make an eye on the side. So I can even make an eye on the side already. So this group is like 200% alive, and I can just connect here. And now... also, now this move is Sente. G15 is my Sente now, so I can even live locally with just E16, which is pretty cool. And now white's group over here... We might need to do a poll again for this one. Yeah. Yeah. Like a poll, a prediction thing. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you die. But actually, if I do kill this stream as well, this entire stream will have been like a string of massacre after massacre. Like, every time my opponent just died with something pretty big. I mean, it happens, I guess. To my opponents. What if white e15? So if white e15, which white played, I'm gonna play e14, then white's gonna connect e16, then I'm going to exchange g15 to connect Encente, right? And then I'm gonna play g19. And g19 is sent to kill white's group locally, but it's also threatening to connect on the first line with j19. Like, white was thinking, oh, I'll play this exchange so that black doesn't connect with i18. j19 also works. And if you don't like that, i19... Oh, i19 doesn't work, actually. i19 usually works, but in this case... Oh, wait. Wait, in this case... Actually, wait. Neither move works. Wait, in this case, neither move works for black, and the reason... Oh, no. Yeah, okay. No. J19 works, but I19 doesn't work. Usually, both moves would work. Oh, everyone's resigning so early by Fox standards. Wow. That's interesting. So, I was thinking the way white was thinking too. Yeah. So, many people think that the main way for black to connect in this shape... Many people think that the main way for black to connect in this shape is I18. It's actually not. It's J19. J19 is the main way to connect. The most common one and the best shape. And the reason it's the best shape is that after you play J19, then you have no cutting points. If you start with I18 and then you play H19, you have a cutting point. So the best shape is to play J19 easily. So usually that's the move. Now, one interesting thing is that in this particular situation, I19, which would also work for black, doesn't work for black, and it doesn't work for a very funny reason. So white plays J19, which is suicide, right? And then if I cut white Ataris, I'm gonna have to connect. And then white plays G16 and I resign. Because I can't connect because white will capture me, it's a Dametsumari. So I'd have to capture, and then white would cut me at F16, and then I still resign. So that's just something funny. But okay, that game was successful, and I kind of played Royal Jelly's Lee Chang-ho-esque opening, but I think I'll try to do it again because I didn't succeed last time. So yeah, we'll try again. My opening wins all because of the first 9 moves. Yeah, exactly. Only because of the first 9 moves. Oh, hello there, Tateson. Welcome. We'll probably go for one more game. So, and I'll try to play the same opening again, if I can, but it's hard. Can I use my reward for playing with you? Well, yeah, sure. If you want to use it now, we can end the stream on a game, for sure. Feel free to use it, Tateson. Nice. Let's go. Which server would you like to play on? I have overlays for most servers, so Fox is fine, other servers are also fine. I'm on Fox too? Okay. What's your username? Tateson. Ah, makes sense. So yeah, you can activate Fox channel points for anyone who's interested for games. So, you know, let's challenge. And if you don't mind, Tateson, I might be using a slightly interesting opening against you because someone in chat asked to try it. It's not like troll, but it's interesting. So it's this one. Haha, okay. I mean, it's just like it's not like troll. It's just a slightly weird corner enclosure. But yeah, I'll send you a game request, I guess. Oh wait, I'm on my other account at the moment, Tateson. So the like Chinese Taipei Taiwanese account that's sending you game requests is actually me. Like, I'm on the Smurf account at the moment. Yeah, sorry about that. Like my challenge was being declined. I was like, what? But and then I realized that I'm incognito with a yeah. What time settings would be preferable? Like unless it's like super slow, it's up to you, I guess. So like 10 minutes, 30 seconds, Byoyomi, up to you. I mean, I'll... Oh, this game's ranked, though. Yeah, can you make it free, though? I accidentally sent ranked. Oh, this is a ranked game. I mean, I guess we can make it ranked. Why not? It's no Komi, though. Okay, let's just make it ranked, and it's a no Komi game, because, you know, rank difference on Fox. Now it's 3 times 30 seconds, so yeah. Oh wait, I forgot about my opening. Oops. Wait, I'll do the rest of it. So usually it's meant to be here, but I forgot about it. So let's try the rest of it. Have a nice game. I don't know. I played Hoshi by instinct, but I'll follow the spirit of it still. So it's C5 next. Oh, I can't play C5. Okay, let's not play it anymore then. Have a nice game. Yeah. So I guess some openings are not possible. Let's just Tanuki and play F17 because I don't know. That's a move. It exists. I think probably the computer would ask to play Q15 because it likes corner enclosures more when they're 3-4, but you know. Don't worry, I'm satisfied by the first attempt. Okay. Glad to hear that. It was something of a failed attempt, but it also kind of worked out, so you know, it kind of worked. This is some old Joseki stuff, C3. Because people don't really play, like, people don't really approach C4 by playing F4 anymore. And also, they don't Tenuki when this approach happens. They play E3, usually. So, your opponent would have to cooperate. Yeah, this opening is... You're gonna get this opening only extremely rarely, unless your opponent intentionally cooperates. Especially the way the meta is now, right? So, the fashion has taken us away from letting your opponent make enclosures. So now you'd invade an open 5-3. And now you'd invade an open 6-4. Whereas back in the day, it was a little bit more acceptable to just leave it. So just by the way that modern Go has trended, it's just really hard to do. Just really, really hard to get this kind of opening on the board due to modern times. Oh, Black's move is interesting, and I can very easily see it transposing into... I can very easily see it transposing into a very normal Joseki game, I guess. Or like, it comes from a different position, but it's a Joseki. Let me just... So, I'm thinking E4, then B3, then C2, B2, C5, B4, and that kind of looks like a Joseki shape. It's very close to a Joseki shape. It's not exactly like that Joseki shape I'm thinking of, but it kind of looks like that. So let's do it. I don't know. If you want, I mean, if you're gonna play something that isn't B3, you can also do that. I'm not gonna stop you. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. If you don't know the Josekis, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. But actually, I'm thinking that probably this one isn't very good for black, because even if you transpose into that Joseki variation, you're not going to get the optimal result in that Joseki variation. So usually the way that the Joseki variation goes is we play c4, e4, what black tenukis, or well, you have a 5-4 enclosure at e4 and then black invades. Then we have d6, then e3, d4, d3, white cuts inside, black ataris and kills like black did here. And then white would just atari c5, then play f3 and sente, d2, e2, c1. So this is very similar, right? It's just basically white gets some sente moves, black gets a corner. Now the difference between these two Josekis is that usually after all of these sente moves have been obtained by white, in the other Joseki shape, white has a stone at d6, but white hasn't fixed the cut at f4. And white would have to add another move. In this situation, white can take sente, and this cut at d5 is actually not very important. Not at all. So, because if black cuts, I can just play c6 and fight with good shape. And the cut actually doesn't help black at all. So from that point of view, I think it's not unlikely that this is slightly better for white, because you get to Tenuki from a Joseki position where you would usually have one more move on the board. So this is probably a tiny bit better for white from a theoretical perspective. And, you know, a black e3 was not optimal, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like, that's a kind of detail that won't win or lose you games. It won't win or lose me games. And even that Joseki is supposed to be kind of good for white. I think that Joseki is just purely a Joseki. I think that even if you ask a computer, isn't it even? I mean, you'll know. So I'm looking forward to your wisdom on that, Ascartokinias. But as far as I know, it's basically even, according to the computer. Interestingly, this Joseki was considered to be better for black for a little while. So you'll see this in some professional games, because most professionals that played against 5-4 thought that this was a good outcome for black. Like, not this one, but the one that's very similar, where white has stones at d6 and g4. So people used to think it was a little bit good for black, and as I understand it, AI went along and kind of told people that it's fine for white. That's what I think happened with AI, but, you know, maybe AI thinks it's even good for white. I don't know. For me, it's a Joseki. It's a tried and true Joseki that is pretty reasonable for both players. So black here exists. I'm more used to the jump because it doesn't leave a cutting point, but this is also a little bit more forcing against the O12 stones, which is quite reasonable. But this kind of Joseki ends up in a very dynamic position, because it's like black could just play p16 and then allow white to Atari p13, q14, o14, and just get a good shape on the outside. But the fun choice for black is to either jump at n14 or came at n13, which basically means that black separates white stones, white breaks into black's corner, everyone has weak groups, nobody knows what's going on, and the computer says it's kind of even. So this is the fun way to play this Joseki sequence, which is pretty cool. Go Tate, yeah. Yeah, seems to be kind of playable. I think this is theory. I've seen this in pro games. Like, I've mostly seen it with N14, but I think N13 exists as well. I think it does. I'm pretty sure. So, this is theory. Western what? Oh, hello there, Shinuito. I'm regretting that title, and I hope people don't get it. Anyway, so R17, R18, R15, and that basically threatens connection at S14, so black will capture my stone at R12, and then I'll be able to play S18, which is a nice shape point in the corner, but then black will escape with the corner M17 or something. That's probably good for black. I don't think I want to do that. White gained a little bit, I think. But you have no Komi. I mean, so you're still behind. I mean, I'm thinking that White has some really interesting ways to play this. So I don't really want to allow Black to connect at R16. But I don't really want to play R17, R18, R15 first, because that gives Black a very easy R12. And even though the position then is probably not, strictly speaking, better for Black, I think it's okay. I think I can play... I think I can definitely play in ways that are more testing. Maybe a good way to start is N17, because if Black does play M18, which is the usual move, then R17 and R15 is actually sent to kill the corner, which is more forcing. So this is an interesting question that I can ask Black to see, well, what are you doing, right? So maybe it's better to start with this move and then consider what my options are. Which is often the case in this Sansan Joseki. It's not just exclusive to this position. But you don't get Gote here if he plays 017. If they play 017, don't you get Gote here? I mean, if they play 017, I'm gonna play R17, R18, R15 anyways. Right? And then I'm gonna double Hane. I'm not gonna extend or something. Then I'm gonna Hane. And Hane is pretty powerful. The thing is, Hane is more powerful after almost any of Black's moves. But then the exchange is good. Which exchange? I'm interested. I think the idea is that, like, let's say that I played R17, 017 and 17. Yeah, 017 and 17 is definitely a good exchange. Yes. Like, it is if this is my Sente. If R17, R18, R15 is my Sente, it is a good exchange. I think. And the reason I think so is that, let's say that I play R17, S18, R15 directly. I basically beg Black, force Black to play R12 and fix their problems on the right side, correct? Then my next local follow-up is actually to play S18 locally. But S18 isn't Sente, Black will just play M17 on the outside. So let's skip to when this exchange N17, 017 is on the board. I don't have to Hane anymore, I can double Hane on this side at M18. So I actually have something concrete on the outside, and I don't just have to play S18, which Black will Tenuki anyway. So, you know, that's the logic behind asking N17. Making the exchange gives me a very concrete time window to do something on the lower side. If I tried to exchange N17 later, Black would just Atari at S17. And force, and either force me to connect or get a Ponuki next move. So, if I exchange N17 first, I think this is the better timing. And now I have some different options. So this hunt is probably the right move here. Or not, I'm not gonna say I'm sure it is, but it's a good move, probably. Ah, wait, is it a good move? Oh, now I don't know anymore. So the idea is that if I Hane R17, R18, and then R15, again, letting me play S14 and R11 connection is unbearable for Black. So Black's probably going to play R12. But then I'm going to get 018. Wedge in. And again, Black has some problems. So this is probably nice for me. I think I like it. Of course, Black may just play 017 now, and after N16 play L18, or even play L18 without exchanging first. But the advantage of that on my side is that I don't have to play the exchange R15 for R12. I don't have to make Black play R12 anymore. Which is advantageous to me because Black wants to play R12 anyway, at some point. Not now, but at some point. Or maybe even now. It wouldn't be unreasonable to play it now. So like this, I think it's worth it to give up the R15 stuff, just because of how pleasant this Aji is. Though actually, I may even... Wait, I can just play here now. I can just play here now. 018 now, without exchanging. It's probably even better. Yeah, yeah. So after this exchange of M17, N17, M17, I can just play here directly, which before wasn't as good. So I don't know why I didn't think of that first. And that's the interesting thing about this type of fight on the lower right corner, where black plays on the outside and white enters the corner. It leads to a really dynamic, sharp, double-edged position, where white has to use Aji very delicately to do well, which I don't always succeed in doing, by the way. But, you know, sometimes I do. And it's just a very interesting position. It's cool. And I think it's probably a little bit easier to play this type of Joseki as black, so that's why a lot of people choose to jump at N14. I think it's easier to play as black than as white, slightly. But, you know, it's a Joseki for a reason. It's not... it's just interesting. Very interesting. I'm thinking I may use my remaining 2 minutes to go, like, very quickly get some water, because my throat is turning into parchment, so I'll be right back, people. Yeah. See you in a bit. Why, hello there. I may be back, or I may not be, who knows. I still feel like black is good here if they play R12. But I might be wrong. I think R12 was necessary, because now I'm going to Atari R15. Before R15, Atari compromises white because of 017 Achi, but now that I've captured, I can play R15, takes, S14, black has to play here, and then I'm going to get great shape. So getting R12 out of the way was an imperative for black here. However, I don't think the game was good for black in that situation. I actually don't. I think this result is fine for both, basically. And I think I may slightly enjoy black. Sorry, I may slightly enjoy white. I think what black should have done after R17 is to play L18. And just let white get the Hane in the corner, and then... Yeah, because what white got on the outside is pretty nice, and the thing is, black didn't even fix the right side problems in Sente, right? This corner capture looks good, but it actually comes with Added Aji, where I'm gonna Atari and then play S14, which really messes with black's shape. Really messes with black's shape. Like, this is really intolerable from a shape perspective for black, because these stones are cut, bad shape. It's really a big deal. So basically, if black had to add another move at R12, which they did, then I think that this capture in the corner is a Pyrrhic victory. Because it's basically like... Yeah, so if they... Oh, if she. Okay. I wasn't sure who Tateson is. I've been trying to say they, due to my lack of knowledge on the person in question. But okay, if she. So, what I was thinking was that if R18, then R16 capture, which looks good, it's basically giving me R15 de facto in Sente, right? And, well, it's always my Sente, to play Q16. Are you watching a game or playing? I'm playing. I'm playing at the moment, against Tateson, who's in chat. So back to the earlier point, because R15 was basically my absolute Sente due to the threat of S14 and R11, then this idea of capturing for black is very, very risky, because if I ever play here at R15, black really doesn't want to let me get a Ponuki by playing S16, then why did she play R16, right? You don't want to play R16 if I'm just going to play R15 and then capture. But then she also doesn't want me to play S14, because it's a really big move. So that's why taking the corner was not very good. I think after my Hane, it was important to play on the outside. And white got a good result off of this, I'm pretty sure. Now I have some choices. I guess, I mean, I have to connect, right? But what is Tateson's flag in Fox? It's a Chilean flag, I think. And I didn't know that there are strong Chilean players. But yeah. I don't even know if Tateson is Chilean, of course, but... So yeah, I'm enjoying this position for white. I mean, this lack of liberties for black is really crushing. Like, the group is just not doing well. Isn't the adjective chilled, Kappa? I am Chilean, I see. But I wouldn't say strong. I mean, Fox 5 Dan isn't bad. I mean, okay, full disclosure, I'm making a stream out of making fun of Fox 5 and 6 Dans. But, I mean, there's Fox 9 Dans that make fun of me just as much. Let's face it. So, you know, I mean, in the broad scheme of things, Fox 5 Dan is pretty okay, you know? I guess it's equivalent to, like, European... I'm gonna say 1 to 2 Dan, which is, you know, decent. Quite decent. I have a lot of students who want to become 1 Dan, actually. About European 1 Dan, yes. Shinuito is this Oscar version 182? Oh yeah, that's probably my Fox name, right? Well, I just made some name that would look inconspicuous, and I wanted to make it a Chinese flag, but they didn't let me. So, like, the Chinese server didn't let me. 011. So this is a very interesting position in the sense that this move is sent to capture black at 014, but imagine that I play 010, black wedges, I play p12, 011. This capture is actually not that important. So it's not like the end of the world for black to lose those stones, so it might be worth cutting me. But I think it's not worth cutting me, so let's go for it. I don't think all European 1 Dan can be Fox 5 Dan. Average Fox 5 Dan is stronger than the average EGF 1 Dan. Okay, there. That's gas. I don't know what that refers to, but okay. Well, I've been stuck at European 2Q for a while, and I'm comfortably Fox 4 Dan. I'm pretty confident the European 1 Dan should be 5 Dan Fox. I mean, probably. In my experience, one flaw of the Fox server is that the players get significantly stronger. Like, the difference between 3Q and 4Q on Fox is not very big, but the difference becomes larger and larger at the top. I'm EGF to do 3 Dan, and on average I win around 14 out of 20 on Fox 5 Dan. So anyway, my point to Andil 57 is that potentially, the let's say there may be more of a difference between Fox 5 Dan and Fox 4 Dan than you think there are. Like, you know, Fox 9 Dan covers anything from European 7 Dan, probably, to bots, right? Which is a, 3 to 4 stone difference. And 8 Dan probably covers everything from European strong 6 Dan, weak 7 Dan to, weaker 5 Dans can make it. Like, weaker 5 Dans can certainly make it to Fox 8 Dan. So it still covers, a close to 2 stone gap. And, Fox 7 Dan, I've seen people from weak European 5 Dan to 3 Dan be Fox 7 Dan. Like, strong 3 Dan. So the gaps are bigger than you'd expect them to be just for a 1 rank difference. That's my point. And let's say, yeah, I mean, I'd still expect a European 1 Dan to be 5 Dan, but yeah. I have a student who's like 1Q, and he's 4 Dan on Fox as well, so 3 to 4 stones now, 5 to 6. This is my second game at 5 Dan. Oh. I've got to go. Great stream. Oh, thank you. See you next time. Yeah. Looking forward to having you back, World Jelly. Pros that match and lose to bot accounts could be 8 done. Well, that's the other thing. Fox, you can choose who you play against. Like, if I wanted to be 9 dan, right, I could, and I do, but I want to be 9 dan fairly. I could just stooge around and find, like, I could stooge around at Chinese, 3 a.m. time and pick on some poor 8 dan player who's, like, drunk and depressed playing at 3 a.m. Chinese time on a 5-game losing streak. I could do that. And then I'd get to 9 dan pretty easily. If I play the average 8 dan, like if on average I play the average strength of 8 dans on Fox, then I can probably, like, I don't know if I can promote or not. I'm close. I'm usually close to promotion, but I'm not making it quite. Also, you could challenge 7 dan and beat them with no Komi. Yeah, that's the other secret. The other secret is that you go at Chinese 3 a.m. time and you find some drunk, depressed 7 dan on a 5-game losing streak, and you play them on 6, like on no Komi, because Komi doesn't matter in Fox games. I mean, when was the last time you won by less than Komi in a Fox game? I'd be very interested in people's answers to that, actually. Wait, that's uncommon? Winning by less than Komi, yes. You win by more than Komi, or you lose by more than Komi, usually. I played this Time Suji, which is probably not very good. It's okay, but it's not very good. Like, Black and Tanuki. Black can and should Tanuki. Okay, Black didn't Tanuki. Black should Tanuki. Because it's not that big. I would say 1/3 of my games end with less than Komi different. 1/3? Wow. Wow. My games never end. Sometimes, but sometimes. I want to keep the pressure on this group. Let's just play Keima. I do have a game played by less than Komi quite often, probably because of my overly quiet style of play. I see. Well, guess I lose or win by Komi around 15% of the time. That's actually more than I'd say I do. I mean, interestingly, in my last competitive event, but I mean, those are slow games against people that are my level and also playing seriously, I won 2 games by 1.5. And I had 1 half-point loss out of 7 games. So, you know, less than Komi win 21 games ago. That's what I'm talking about, Zichen. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, yeah. I mean, on this account, I don't think anyone has counted against me. But, I mean, I did run into a couple of bots, but go big or go home. Yeah, that's, yeah. I like this Zichen guy. Somehow. So, I'd say that around 10% of my games are counted at less than Komi. That's my guess. 10%. I think M16 is quite nice here, just because... just because it's a Ponuki. But I mean, L16, and then if Black ever connects M16, I can just Tiger Mouth, so who cares, actually. I'll just push. I want to limit this group's eye space as much as I can. Constrict it. It's not gonna die. But... yeah. It's... certainly gonna suffer a little bit. Do I... oh, I could peep. This kind of peep is nasty. Let's play it. I have 54 games on my account, and like only 10 even went to counting, only 3 less than Komi. Well, that's a strange sample size, because you're playing with like, you're playing with weaker opponents, right, Ascor? Like, you started at Fox 3 dan, which is weaker than you. So, you know, you have to take the sample size of games with people more or less your level. Though actually, one of the things about Fox is that one of my arguments for why Fox games are never close is that, generally speaking, Fox games, like, because the rank pool is so varied at the top, like 6th dan, 7th dan, like there's such a big gap between the stronger and the weaker 7th dans. The whole point is that sometimes you get mismatched opponents. So, yeah. Oh, good evening. Hello there. Go 1015. Oh, Black's taking my stone. It's mean of her. Yeah, I figured when Black pushed that probably this peep was a little bit optimistic. Since it does just get swallowed. With that said, it does take Black's eye space. Like, Black has less eye space than had I done nothing. So, imagine here Black had just gotten to play J15 or something, So there is that. But yeah, I mean, this group's gonna live. Unfortunately, sometimes groups live. I mean, I do my very, very, very best for that to not be the case, but yeah, it does happen. So Black will live. Next move, I think my next move has to be something along the lines of attachment on the top right. Like, I want to live on the top right next. That's the next order of business for sure. And I just want to make sure that I don't get Gote on the lower side. So I may as well Tanuki now. Because Black doesn't have a great follow-up, so let's attach here. The other big move that has to happen at some point is something like C11, because the left side is pretty big. C11's the feeling here for the left side, but the top right invasion is also pretty big, so there's, everything's big. Undale 57, thank you for following. You've been around in chat, thank you for that as well. Let's just so the point of this invasion is that if Black blocks from Q3, I can play Q5, R3, P5, and then the whole point is that after I extended Q8, even Black's group at 09 is like not that alive. Like, so from a perspective territory, now it's just some kind of potentially aggressive position. So I enjoy this. For White, I think that what Black should have done is block from the outside, let me live inside. So something along the lines of Q5, P3, O4, R3, that's a classic living sequence, and then, R5, and then Q2, N2, like O2, N2, Q2. And then I would live, right? And in that type of sequence, in that type of sequence, then Black's keeping a lot of coordination between the N9 and O4 groups, and potentially can close the territory with R10 later. More importantly, none of the stones are going to get weak once they're connected and strong and making a framework. And the corner is actually very small. Had Black blocked at Q5 and let me play P3, O4, I would actually have Tanuki'd then. I would not have invested another move to live in such a small corner at this stage of the game. Like, I could have done it, but it's a little bit small, so I would have Tanuki'd. Conversely, this way, I'm getting a lot on the right side. Like, whereas before I'm not interested in playing in the area, now I'm interested. So, on the other hand, M9 is a very big push, so because it limits my liberties with the group, so it is true that that's pretty big. On the other hand, because of the Aji around K15, this move should be my Sente. So, at least I have a little, I have more resources with this stone than would at first seem possible. Isn't C11 low regarding White's influence around? It's okay. Well, let's say I already have high stones, right? If I play D11, for example, it's too close to my high stones. If I play D11, it's easier for Black to live in the Moyo. Like, because of these high stones, I have no interest in playing. Like, I have no, like issues. I don't mind if Black is to, cap at E11. I play C11, Black caps at E11, I don't care. I'm already strong here, I'm gonna attack that stone. Whereas if I play high, I give Black higher chances of living. in on the end side. So that's maybe going to be my my argument for why I would play low here. Playing high is fine. There's nothing wrong with playing high, but that's my logic. Okay, so this move by black, I've been expecting it for a while, and I think so. Unfortunately, R9 is not my sente, because after black plays S11, black's preparing a trap of S16, connect, and then snap back. And if I play here, then I play 05, 06, cut, and then I was thinking I'm going to push through, which is it's a very weird sequence, but I think it's actually okay for white. I think it's better for white. Ascar Tokinas, play the kappa opening. I answer every move of your opponent with a cap. Oh, the kappa opening. Wow. That's sophisticated. Interesting. Now, unfortunately, I will be ending the stream after this game, so I can't do it this stream. But yeah, I'll refund. It sounds like a great concept if you want to ask for it some other time. In fact, so I look forward. I see. Yeah. Unfortunate. Oh, so black wants to. So the idea from black here is that after I play L11 and black cuts now, so 05, then 06, P6, and then if I push through, then like black can block, which previously she couldn't because then I'd cut M6 and then cut. Now if I play L9 now, black's just gonna take it. So that's the logic, and it is reasonable, but I think black is still gonna die, unfortunately. Yeah, I think black's still gonna die here. Like, the logic is sound in the sense that after I push through, I don't have a clear win. But this is still gonna end badly for black due to liberty shortages with her group. So that's the real issue. So M7, M8, block, cut, M6, then I'm going to Atari here, and then I'm gonna cap. And then even if black takes a move to play Q6, then I'm gonna Atari and then play R9. And as far as I can tell, I should first play. It's a little bit more complicated than I thought. So if I play P9, P10, Atari, then if I play here, black going down is a little bit challenging. It's okay for me, because I can always play R6. Yeah, I can always play R6. R6 just works, so it should be okay. Oh, this Atari is actually a mistake from black, because now I get this Atari, right? So before, if black just played M6 directly, I'd have to spend a move to enclose black anyway, and then black's gonna get to push through at Q6. And while I think that just exchanging R9 for S10 in Sente and then playing R6 works for me, it's a very, like, hairy position. Like, that's not easy, right? So, like this... Oh, wait. Wait, black doesn't have to take in Ponuki. Oh, but that doesn't matter. Oh, but it does matter. It doesn't matter. So black M5 is sent to ladder me anyway. I'm missing a ladder here like I'm some computer or something. It's interesting how in the days of bots you can put a positive on missing ladders. Basically, because you always take in Ponuki, I didn't really think about M5, which threatens a ladder. So that means that black can play Q6 anyway. So then basically all of the things that I was talking about earlier about this Liberty race still apply. I'm going to play P9, P10, K9, black's going to push through, and if I want to play R6, it's still Gote because I have to protect on the outside at the end of it. So, and I still think that white's okay here. I think white's going to get a good result, but yeah. I mean, even if white died, white gets a lot of strong outside shape, so it's acceptable. Not sure if good, but acceptable. But I think after R9, black's in some trouble. So R9, if black Han is here preparing that Tesuji we were talking about earlier, that doesn't matter too much now because I'm just going to play Q11. And if black wants to go ahead and capture 3 stones, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Capture away, right? So now what really matters is the stones in the center. And after black plays S10, this just directly taking liberties doesn't really work. So it's a little bit harder than that. But I think that if I just get this exchange R6 out of the way, I should be fine. So R6, black can play M5, that's okay. And I can play L5 now. And interestingly, now this testuji does work for black, in the sense that if I connect, black can throw in Atari and then capture with O13. It works in that sense. But if black Ataris, I still don't have to care about the 3 stones. I can still just play S11 and, you know, these 3 stones don't matter anymore. Now, sadly enough, if black had exchanged S16 for S13 at any point previously in the game, and I would have answered, then black would have a really nice combination here. Unfortunately, I have no compunction to connect at S13 now, I can just kill. Right? I can let these 3 stones go and just kill. And, you know, this kind of detail of whether you make an exchange or not can sometimes be a big deal, which is interesting. So, you know, it's a little bit of a pity for black that now S11's just gonna kill. Yeah, so black's just out of liberties. And if black had exchanged this earlier in the game, then black would be able to throw in and make all of this nice combination. And it's really unfortunate, you know, this kind of detail really ends up mattering sometimes. And I'm not saying that black should have exchanged S16 for S13, because in what world does that matter? I mean, you can't predict this 100 moves before, right? But when it is time to read this kind of sequence, you need to keep in mind that you can't take this Atari for granted anymore once the groups that are dying on the board are this big. So that's the other side of this, that, you know, now I don't care if black lives with this and kills R15 and lives with Q14 because I'm killing the bigger group, right? So it's just maybe an unfortunate thing about Go, where this kind of timed exchanges changes so much somehow. Even though you would have thought it's insignificant whether black plays S16 exchange or not, you would never have thought it would matter much, and I don't blame black for not playing it. But, you know, at end of the day, maybe black expected me to answer, and her reading was like, I answer and she's fine, whereas I don't have to answer anymore. That's the thing. And that's something you need to keep into account when you do reading, right? You need to... Sometimes your opponent doesn't answer exchanges, even though they would usually answer the exchanges for the entire game. Sometimes that changes. L3 to make the top side, or maybe just C12. And now black's not doing very well. I mean, the capture of these stones is nice, but the center capture is way too big. Also, I got K8 stones, K9, K10. It's a big wall. So I still have this Aji, because earlier black took Sente, but this Aji shape is still very interesting. So let's just throw black a question. How do you answer this? And black can answer it. I think black's okay, but it's just a question, you know, innocent question. Oh, black messed up. Okay, so black's key move was to not play M16, because, you know, when I play L14 Atari eventually, this group of blacks is gonna have 1 liberty less, and that's gonna be very important, very important. So actually, this is, unfortunately, black messed up. Had black not exchanged this Atari and just played J16 directly, then Al Atari, black will play M15, and even if I Atari M13, K13, after I connect M14 or something like that, and then black plays K14, black would win their liberty race, at least. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Actually, black would be able to... After I connect and black plays K14, I'd be able to play N14 and cut off the black stones from the right side, which would be pretty bad for black. But after M14, black would have the luxury of playing N14 and Sente. Then I connect, then black cuts. So then black would be connected with everything, black's groups would be fine. Now, that strikes a very sharp contrast with this situation, because black not having the one liberty is a big deal. Now, black can cut here, true, and make a ko. But after k13, if black ever connects, then I'm just going to cut at n14. And black has the same problem, where I'm threatening to connect s13, I'm threatening to kill black in the center because, you know, black captured these 2 stones, but black still doesn't have any eyes. So black's in a lot of trouble here, just off of this liberty not being there. And even though it feels very natural to play this type of exchange m16, L18 without thinking, it's very dangerous to take your own liberties like that. And sometimes, you know, things go wrong because of it. So now black is in some trouble. I mean, she was in some trouble before as well, but now in more trouble, I guess. Black can't connect like this because O15, M14, and dacat1, right? So, also currently I'm threatening to play S13, and black can't throw in and stuff because dacat1 again. So black's just out of liberties in most places, I think. Okay, we take, and I'm gonna... I guess we aren't going to win this game by Komi either. Yeah. But actually, black put up a good fight. Like, you know, most Fox 5 duns I play against are much easier to beat. Like, she had a really interesting plan on the right side, which almost worked out barely. Like, if you think about it, this entire reading plan would have worked had this exchange just been on the board earlier, right? So, black's ideas weren't unreasonable. Like, it was a very good attempt. But unfortunately, you know, black got in some trouble. And now, I mean, I'm just gonna play here, and then I've killed the entire right side all over again. So, but, you know, white... Like, black actually made a very nice fight here. It was close. Like, it looks terrible because everything died, but I mean, sometimes the game's close but everything dies, because you barely die with something. So, you know, it happens. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the game. That was a very interesting game. It, like, that was a... Yeah, it was a fun game. I mean, really, if this exchange had just been played, the whole thing works for you. You died everywhere, but my point is that just this exchange would have made all the difference. The whole plan, my whole plan would have crumbled if this exchange were on the board. So I don't know. It's small details, right? And, you know, small details can make a very big difference, but the point is that this plan of yours isn't unreasonable. It's just... It died on a very close margin, if that is any consolation. I mean, it's not a consolation for your stones, but maybe it's a consolation for you. Yeah, I mean, your stones, I mean, it's fine. Your stones are, like, not sentient anymore. They died. So, yeah, I think let's do a review, I guess. I think this... Like I said, I think actually you were listening, right? So black was actually sniping in chat. Well, sniping. Black was in chat. I think you probably heard the discussion about how this Joseki is probably not optimal for black. Like, this transposes into a Joseki shape where white actually gets sente, where white usually shouldn't. Go is a game of chance where chance favors the stronger player. I mean, of course, like... yeah, I did kind of have the reading sequence under control, but not as under control as it looked. Like, it was still quite hairy. Didn't feel well about that Joseki. Wasn't able to follow their variations. Okay, so what you can do here is... So black has some different options here. As far as I know, what are the moves I know? You can play this Atari here, 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 and here. This exists. And then white can basically just get these sente moves out of the way. And this is very similar to the game, except for one thing. White has to add another move on the outside. White takes gote. So this type of thing exists for you. Like, I'd have to play again, right? This type of thing exists. I think that's not the most common way. Like, it's not the correct way to play. Like, that way would be better because you get sente, but that's still probably considered a bit better for white. What's the main move here? I'm actually having trouble remembering. It's such an uncommon Joseki that it just never gets played. I think Black and Han had b3 instead of d3 to simplify. I think if I had to guess, this looks okay for both players. So even if Black just sacks everything and, you know, plays here, this is probably fine for both. Probably. Oh, in this case, I'd rather play this directly and then play here. Which looks weird because you didn't Atari, but now you have this kind of Aji going on. And you know, if white takes Gote to make a Ponuki, then you extend, and that's actually a good exchange for you. Compared to Atari and Connect, I think. So, this probably exists as well. Like, I'd bet a lot of money that this has been played as Joseki at some point. But I don't know the main move. The reason I don't know the main move is that most of the time white has f3 here, not f4. And I know the main move with that move. Like with f3 instead of f4. Maybe something else black can consider, which looks kind of like a Joseki, is this. Where black keeps the top side, white keeps the outside, but there's still a cutting point at f5, and there's still Aji at f11. So lots of interesting options for black here. I think what black did, I want to say again, what black did was fine. Like, what black did was fine. It's not, like, bad. Oh, oops. You know, you took a corner, I got the outside. You know, I still have a cutting point here. You know, it's okay. Like, it's a little bit worse, theoretically, but it's fine. What you did here was Joseki for the most part. I think I've seen this sequence before. And I don't know how well acquainted you are on the theory with this, like, in this variation. What I can say from my experience is that this is the end of my theoretical knowledge. I know a lot of the ideas here because I've played the position a lot of times, but I don't know, like, any official Joseki. I only get until that point. Okay, so this is the end of both of our theoretical knowledge. Okay, so I played this move, and the idea was to basically test what you're doing, because in a lot of different situations now, this is good for me. And actually, the part I want to talk about in this game that was very important, where white got ahead, was that this move, r15, is basically forced sente against the right side. Like, you have to play here. And rarely do I say things that strongly, you have to. But if you consider the change in the dynamic of the shapes when white gets this, it's brutal. White gets all the eye space on the side, extra points, connects both the groups. This black group is now really heavy in the center. So the thing about this dynamic on the right side is that this move is basically forced sente. Now, I don't want to play this exchange because it's bad for white to play this exchange. Like, you know, if I were black, I'd actually be looking to fix r12 at some point. Maybe not now, but I'd be looking to fix r12 in the future. Because if we think about it, white can even choose to fight with r11 if I really want to, right? Didn't realize that after playing there afterwards that that was big either. I see. So r12 is actually, in this type of shape, r12 is a big vital point that you need to look out for. And eventually, you're going to want to fix your shape by playing that. Now, white can Atari here, so that after black, you know, after black plays here, you can do this. And, you know, if black does this, now, and white Ataris, black's just going to be able to play from the top, which is probably better for black. But after white plays this exchange, this is actually a good exchange for white, so you don't mind. Then you don't have to play r12 anymore, so because white made a bad exchange. So anyway, point being, r12 is a vital point that has to be looked at, and even though r15 is a bad move locally because it gives you r12, it gives me a lot of leverage against this corner, which you need to be very careful about. So when I played here, you need to be very careful. And I think that this is where black made the main mistake. I think what you should do is just, well, you don't have to Atari. You can just play here directly. And now if I play this sente, well, that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, you can still cut and take here, so it's not a problem. And this is a Joseki shape anyway. And that way you don't make it so that R15 is a useful move. And then here, what would have happened is that I think I'd play here, you'd play here, and I'd probably play something like this move. And this way I'd try to make it so that all the groups are weak. So this group is kind of weak, this group is kind of weak, this group doesn't have I shape, and this is just some crazy fighting position where everyone's weak and no one knows what's going on. Which is it's fun, right? You know, it goes fun. It's a fun game. Looks okay. Looks pretty cool. So this was my plan, and I think this just leads to an interesting fighting position where it's unclear who's better. I think in the game you let R15 be too good of a move. So yeah, that was a big issue. Oh, thank you for the follow, Codzilako. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, so I think this was a good result for white, the main reason being that you still have to add another move, right? R15 is still this, like, nuclear explosion I can set off to really ruin your shape. And the reason I don't play it immediately is that you're actually going to fix this, and after I play here, you're still gonna at least keep the corner, which would be good for white, but, you know, I basically wanted Sente, so I was like, okay, I play here, and then black has to add another move, after which I can still get this in endgame. This is pretty good endgame, actually, later. So I figured black shape is a little bit suspicious. But, you know, if you take Gote, it's still fine. This Tenuki that you played in the game really gave white a great result. Like this result that white got locally. The dying everywhere never ends, yeah. My shape is always awful. Yeah, you need to pay more attention to shape, judging by this game. And, you know, I appreciate that you're considering Sente, right? Sente is a very, very important part of Go, and I don't want you to forget that, you know? But when you see this type of shape, and you see this type of shape, yeah. Don't do that. So, oh, hello, Alvedguz. Welcome. I think I died less when I was weaker, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I play better people now, so you know. So, okay, we go along, and then black shape is just a little bit bad. I think you did a good job of fixing your shape here. Like, I think in general you did fine. You know, here you cut me in the center and lost these stones. This trade is probably okay for you. Because otherwise, I mean, black doesn't really know what to do if you don't cut. So, you know, you could play here, and here, and here, which is okay. But I think what you did was also fine. I think probably you should have done this. Like, now that I think about it more, probably black should have done this because you're still kind of keeping the right side. And the really important thing about this is that now my group doesn't have two eyes. Like, this group of mine, it's not super weak, but I still have to watch out for it. So, during the game, I thought that your decision was fine. But if we consider that this move at M11 actually does a really good job harassing your N12, N13, N15 stones, and if we also consider that now my group is alive with 10 extra points, then you probably shouldn't have allowed this to happen. Yeah, so this is probably not ideal. Yeah, so... But at the time, I actually didn't think it was such a bad decision, though now looking at it, I think it was probably harmful to your position, more than I gave it credit for at the time. Okay, so... Oh, one interesting thing here. I played P18 purely as a time Suji. And I didn't expect black to answer. I don't think black should have answered. But it's... Yeah, I think it was probably correct to just go ahead and Tenuki, because it's not that big. I mean, it's like, how much? 10... I mean, it's acceptable to answer. I'm not going to call it a big mistake. It's probably slightly better to Tenuki, and the reason is that a move like H12 makes such a big difference between whether J13 is weak and J11 is weak. So it's quite urgent to play there, and I wouldn't have played this time Suji again if like it was a time Suji. So, you know, sometimes you make bad time Sujis. But answering is reasonable. It is very big. Like, when a corner is worth 20 points in flat cash in the middle game, it might be worth taking. It might not. Depends on the urgency of the moves. So, yeah. With more time, I might have considered that. Okay, so I think it's reasonable, but I think it's probably a little bit bad, but it's okay. And here, in general, you did a good job living here. This was sharp of you to capture my stone. And, you ended in Gote, but you kind of had to. So, it happens. Okay, so this is the next part of the game where probably you didn't play optimally. I think the better thing to do here is to not prioritize the corner. And the reason is because you want to work with the 09 and 9 stones. Like, in the game, you can see that you're not really attacking black, right? It's more like this, and then white's group is fine. Or this, and white's group is also fine. So, probably the better way to play from a direction of play perspective is just do here, and then if I do this, you let me live. This is a Joseki, so here. And if white plays here, black will usually answer, and then white will usually live. Now, I don't want to take Gote to live at this stage of the game, so what I would do here is Tanuki to play on the left side and later live. So what this invasion is sort of meant to, like, secure the fact that I'm alive. Oh, Asker Tokinis, thank you for the bits. Yeah, pleasure. Hope to see you back again. The stream will end soon, like, with the review, so yeah. Oh, thank you for the follow, Zengen361. Zengen, it's a cool name. Z Tengen. Z Best Tengen, anyway. So this was probably a little bit suboptimal from a, direction of play perspective. But it was okay. And yeah, I think this decision that you made here was that you took Sente, that's fine. This cut that you played here is very risky, and I understand why you went for it. It's a pity it didn't work. It almost barely works. Like, it's an interesting cut. It might work against a lot of people, like, with no offense intended, like, at your level, because it's a very challenging cut that's hard to refute. So, hey, how is everyone? Oh, hello, Tamotus. Hello there. Hello, good to see more Ghost streamers, especially with good English. Oh, thank you. Yeah, almost. Which streamers have bad English? I mean some. No names will be called here. Anyway, so this cut, it is the shape feeling here, especially after you got the L10 exchange. But basically, I was reading out, and I was pretty sure that this works for white. And I don't know. Okay, so I'm fine with this for black because it's a Byoyomi game. It's very close. You went for it. It didn't work. It happens. My only question to you is, did you think S16 is for granted? Like, did you expect me to answer S16? Because that would be a flaw that you need to fix. Like, the rest of it, I think that you can get much stronger than... You can get higher than Fox 5 Dan level by misreading this. Like, even if you misread this. So I don't think it's a big problem. Like, it's an interesting thing you went for that is almost but not quite working. So I don't mind that you did it. But didn't have another... Okay, so you didn't think that okay. No, that's fine. As long as you know that this exchange isn't for granted, that's the really important thing. Here. Because, if you were reading and you just expected your opponent to answer, what that means is that you're not looking for the most challenging moves from your opponent, which is something you need to fix. So, yeah, but if you expected me to Tanuki, that's fine. It's just important that you do that. The last thing I want to talk about very quickly is... Very quickly, because I need to go soon. Like, I have dinner with my family relatively soon, so I should wrap up. But okay. The last thing I want to talk about is here. Here you played M16. And I'd maybe... I don't know if you were watching the stream at the time or if you just had it muted. What does this exchange lose? What's the disadvantage of this exchange? I heard. Okay. Yeah, so liberties, right? So that's the point. Liberties. Don't take your liberties if you can help it. Like, I know it's time pressure. It's very easy to just make an exchange and then realize, oh, that was terrible. But the point is that this exchange actually makes the difference between you surviving and me killing you here. So that's pretty unfortunate. So here, 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 here. Now if I connect, you can play this move. I still can't connect at K14, right? I'm gonna play here, then you're gonna cut, and you're basically all connected. You're fine. You're alive. This would be the best way to play for black. But after you take this liberty, it all crumbles. And yeah, and the thing is, you mentioned earlier that you think that your shapes, like you're not very good at shapes. You mentioned that. Judging by this game, you need to look a little bit more acutely at shape and liberties. And that doesn't necessarily mean reading, right? Because many people misconstrue that as reading. I don't need to read to know that this move isn't right, let's say. And to not play it ever. Like to be like, oh no, I really don't want to play that move. No way I'm playing that move. And let's say I think it's just important to keep liberties in general in mind. Like, be sensitive to when you play a move and that limits the liberties of a group of stones. And you know, eyes are important as well, but liberties are actually underrated in Go. So that's just something to keep in mind for you. Okay, so let's I think that's a good place to conclude. I'll wrap up the review here. Thank you for the game. It was a very interesting game. Let's see. Let's find someone to raid. Oh yeah, read 300 Sumego solutions will help greatly. Well, a great way to train shape intuition is to do Sumego, but let's face it, we're lazy to do Sumego. Like, doing Sumego is hard. So, if you aren't doing Sumego, or if you want to speed up your intuition for good shapes, even faster than if you're just doing Sumego, right? Like, boost that. Then just trying to pay attention to shape, well, to liberties specifically, is important. Don't just look at answers. Oh, I disagree with that. But anyway, maybe I don't disagree with that. Good quality and great content. Thank you for the stream. Thank you so much for watching, Elia Kadochi. Kadochi. So many ways to pronounce that name. Thank you for the game and review. Yeah, thanks. Read shape up, Kappa. Yeah. Hello there, Curry X Hurry. Here for the end of the stream. So yeah, let's find someone to raid. So let's raid. I think Miko is live, right? Can someone confirm Miko's live? Let's get a raid going. I'm checking if Miko's live. Yeah, Miko's live. So Miko and Jeff do these streams where they commentate games. Jeff's my teacher, so you know. Yeah, I got here late. Yeah, you got here just so I can ship you off to Miko and Jeff, so yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back next week. I may do some impromptu streams during next week, but probably just on Friday at the same time. So thank you to everyone who watched, and I'll see you around.
They are. What? What? Oh, we'll tell people laugh.